Welcome to another episode of your favorite podcast, Loose Talk. My name is Osagie
My
Alonge,
name is Ayomide Tayo.
and we got the fake
This is
lead researcher
the
here.
lead researcher.
Fake.
You
You
say
see?
that?
Who?
Why would you say that? Now? Come on. Now. You know I'm the
Fake.
lead researcher.
Yeah, you're the
You
lead
can't be
researcher.
arguing about this. Like,
I'm not
you know.
arguing. You are the lead
Okay.
researcher. What type of lead researcher? A fake
No,
lead
don't
researcher?
do that. Don't do that.
I'm just
Don't do that.
adjectiving your
Don't do
position.
that. Don't adjective. I don't send you. Don't
I
put
should not
adjectives on my title.
I should not classify you.
Exactly. Don't do that.
I
You
should not
can't
put you in
define
the
me like
box.
that. I'm a fluid researcher.
Pause.
I should not stereotype you. I should
you
not
can't
put you in the box.
you can't put me in the box, please.
Okay.
What's up, my
All right.
people?
No problem. Was popping.
Yeah, it was good.
Waiting
We
the
did,
happen.
Jerry.
I'm okay. I'm alright. There.
Fantastic. All right.
We're
Welcome
a
to
day late
another.
already on the pod, so
Yeah, day late on. Yeah, we're a day we're a day late on the pod. We're a day late because hey man, we're also recording virtually. Guys, we're back to the virtual lifestyle. I know a lot of people
Hey.
don't like the virtual lifestyle. Yeah,
yeah.
but we're back there. We're back to the virtual lifestyle for now. Let's just put it that way. I'm looking for a way to integrate music. So people love the music feedback, the music we play on the pod, even if the guys on the pod will not appreciate it, at least the listeners have written and they've confirmed to us that they love
You
it.
don't play Gen Z music. That's the problem. That's the thing.
But do you think
And
do
we
you
are
think if we,
Gen
We are
Z, so
trans
we have
Gen
to
Z
be
as we did like this.
you have to be playing music that speaks to us.
so give me an idea, Ayo, if you had the aux cord,
Yeah.
what song would you play right now?
My booty hole brown, my coochie pink, or something like that. That's the kind of music we listen to now. Only fans rap.
That's such a lot.
Only fans rap. That's what we listen to.
That's not even Gen Z. That's just another.
Now you.
That's just
Why you mansplaining?
That's trenches.
Why you mansplaining Gen Z for us now?
That's ratchetness.
No. So Ayo has failed. Steve, if I gave you the aux code,
Give me the aux now, Abby.
pass me the aux, make it turn up.
Um hmm.
I know the song, Sha, but I won't just say.
Wait, what's the song?
I know
What's the song?
Gen Z's are feeling cheat on me right now, so that's the reason I've seen on TikTok in the past 2 days. So
Is that a Chris Brown song?
no. Ayo,
Oh,
cheat
no,
on
the
me.
Burna Boy Dave record.
Yeah.
Chris Brown, okay.
Okay.
Concern Chris Brown.
Chris Brown's old school now.
I think it's not the Chris Brown record. Don't tell Steve Chris Brown is old school now.
Chris Brown's old
Well,
school.
he is now. He's no longer. Chris Brown is 34, I'll be 33. So an old man now.
Mm.
One day Chris Brown turned 50.
Guy.
Crazy.
Guy.
It will be insane. And he will drop a record still.
You understand? It's going to be wild. One day
It's
Chris
gonna-
Brown will say I'm 50 years old.
I swear.
This is wild. This is wild. And you know the funny thing? If he's very active as an artist, some people will only know Chris Brown as an as an old artist. It's like how we
Exactly.
know
They will
Lionel
never know
Richie.
him as
A young
as
guy.
a
It's like
young
how we know
artist.
like Richie as an old artist. Do you understand?
It's true.
But
That's
James
true.
Brown, there's some people we
Yeah.
just know when we were born
That's
and
true.
we're just old.
I never
Yeah.
knew James Brown as a young artist.
Chris Brown was old from day one, man. My nigga.
From day one, from the gate.
Do you understand?
Oh,
So
that's a
think
nice
about it like that.
perspective. Yeah, that's true.
Is that
I
not
have
crazy?
cousins now who look at 50 Cent as like I was playing a 50 Cent record. The guy looked at me and like, this sounds so old. I felt bad for my life. And I was like,
It's old now.
how can you say this thing sounds so old? Like, I was playing the Get Rich or Die Trying album in the car. The
Yeah.
guy looked at me and was like, this thing sounds so old.
That's 20
Like,
years
he
ago.
was so disappointed.
20 years ago, my guy. 2 decades.
That's actually
Bro, you know, we don't think about it. We don't think about it like that now. You're the one putting years on it. You're the one defining it 20 years ago. When I'm listening to that record, it doesn't look like 20 years to me,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because like it's just I think about it as just yesterday when I was listening to that album, growing up, stuff like that. So it kind of put things into perspective for us though, say
Yeah.
Down the old. I remember
Yeah.
because I remember I used to say because my wife used to complain that I drink a lot of alcohol at home, and I was like, "Don't worry, when I turn 40, I'll stop drinking." You know.
Mhm.
And anytime I say it, I usually say it I still have so many years to enjoy my alcohol.
40 don't
Yeah,
come.
it's
Then after I
another
say it, she'll be like, "Oh, okay, you know what? Like, very soon." I'll now calm down. I'm like, "Oh, that's
You
true."
don't reach.
what story.
It done they reach you. Oh man, life is interesting, you know. But
It
that's
is. It
good. It's a
is.
good thing.
It actually
Yeah,
is. It actually is. How you guys doing, man?
I'm on with day, man.
I'm
We're
good.
surviving in Lagos.
I just resumed work today. I so when when you start a new company, right? How many months onboarding do you how many how long is your onboarding period? Like how do you recommend Osagi?
It depends on how serious.
Don't give me that hardcore response from the
No, no, no,
start
no,
working immediately. No, no, no. Just give me
no, no. It depends. It depends on how
don't be a toxic leader now. Just be a normal leader. How many how long is your onboarding period?
leader. Um, it depends on how serious the company is. Some companies they actually take onboarding seriously.
Yeah, 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 that's
Yeah.
true. That's true.
Some other companies now I'm into the
Just enter jungle straight.
Enter the lumbo one time.
Okay, I just came back from leave. I think I need a week on body. I think I need
you
a
need
week.
no what is not onboarding you need reintegration.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you. And sometimes it can be more difficult than the onboarding.
Yes, yes, yes. Because you've missed the cycle. You've missed the
I've missed the cycle.
missed the
Like I've
movement.
missed it. Something has changed.
No, what you should do in your first week is in your first week you should just do catch ups.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
set up
that's
meetings
what
on
the only thing I
LinkedIn.
did today was look all through my mail.
Yeah.
Bro.
So one day spend looking through your mail, the other day
Yeah,
just set up catch ups
yeah,
throughout the
yeah,
week. Don't force all the catch ups into one day. Oh, let me meet with marketing team,
yeah.
let me meet with the product
This
team,
thing,
let
that's
me meet
true.
with the sales team, everybody you interact with.
Everybody interact, yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
just talk to
Meet
them.
up
It's
with
true. It's
everybody.
true. It's true.
Then yeah,
And I just discovered that we get in our work, like in normal work, we get a ridiculous amount of mail because we always read it every day. We don't realize how
Yeah.
many interactions that we make.
yeah,
When you leave it and come back
my
and
brother.
start reading all your mails, that's when you know that oh more this thing too
You
much.
choke.
Let me tell you. At at some point, what I used to do when we were working at Ringgit, because the emails were too many. I was working
Yeah,
too many people.
yeah,
Two things we did. Two things I did. The first is, and it was Noel that taught me the first one. Noel set his email in a way where if you CC him, it does not come into his direct inbox.
Mm.
And we used to do a lot of CCing back then at Ringgit. We just CC, oh CC this person, because that person needs to know, has to
yeah.
be in
Need
the
to
Yeah.
be
email. If
aware.
you're
Need to
writing
be in loop.
somebody, or if you're writing that person's subordinate, you need to, So what he used to do is, if you didn't send the email to him directly, and you just put him in copy,
Yeah.
the email does not drop in his inbox. So he
It
does not
goes
read it till
to
the end of,
if so, if filtered,
yeah, he filtered it out
that it out.
until the end of the day. Then he will check all his CCs. So
Mm.
he only dealt with direct mails. What I did was I only check my mails between a certain period in the morning and in the evening. If it's urgent, you will call me.
Mm.
Or send a private message, like maybe
Yes,
from a chat or like Skype
Slack
or
or
Slack
whatever.
or something like that.
Yes. You will
I
send
want
a
to ask a
message
question in the traditional office. How do you CC?
in a traditional office.
When nothing is digital, it's just letters.
And now
So if
that's
you're
what they were doing now. You
how
print
do they do it?
that's
Eh?
the meaning of CC is carbon copy.
Yeah. You make a copy for that person now.
So that's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. So remember when they were doing carbon, you had carbon paper.
Yeah.
That's
So when you
true.
print,
That's true.
yeah,
That's
when
true.
you
But I
are
never
so
thought about
the
it like
concept
that.
of
Oh.
carbon copy even before you started printing was if you are
Yeah,
writing a letter, you put a carbon paper, right? For
that's
those who don't understand carbon paper, please
true.
Google this because I don't even know how to
You
explain.
can't explain.
There were things
Yeah,
called
yeah,
carbon
yeah,
papers. They were like
yeah, yeah.
nylon. So you put
Yeah,
them under
they
the
put them
paper.
under.
You
Yeah,
put another paper under the carbon paper. Then you write on top of the carbon paper with your normal paper,
Yeah.
right? And so as you write, it's creating another copy. And so it is that copy you then take to the second person after you've taken the original
the
letter to
original one.
whoever. And so now
I
it's
think it's very popular
among
in the receipts in the receipt.
ehen,
Yeah,
your bank teller.
Civil
yeah,
service.
bank teller.
Civil
You keep one for
service.
the
That's
bank, take one home. Yeah.
Yeah, triplicate.
Civil
That's
service I be that, home models I be that thing.
Yeah.
triplicate.
So
That's
a
true.
very so for those listening that don't understand, an interesting or a recent example would be
The
when you go to
receipt.
the bank, the
Yeah.
yellow slip and the pink slip.
Yeah.
You know when you write, it writes on those ones.
On
So
those ones
one
too.
those two are carbon copies.
But
One
you know,
carbon
you're
for
talking about
yourself, one carbon copy is for the bank.
this thing, this kind of this thing you're talking about now. They no longer do it. Oh,
And because no, they still do it in the bank, but
my
people are
banks they
doing
don't do it. It's
traditional.
just one copy that you have now.
No, you still have two copies. Access Bank still
Eh,
does it.
I mean, I
Yeah.
know they do bank
okay.
transactions like that again,
Some
so
banks don't do
I
it.
don't know.
Some
Some
banks
banks
just
don't do
do
it. Oh, okay.
even some people that I'm even trying to explain this bank teller for, they've not done it. It's
They've
transfer
not
they do.
done
It's transfer
it.
online.
So that's where the whole concept of carbon copy
Copy
(CC)
it,
came
yeah,
in,
CC, yeah,
and
that's true.
BCC blind
A
carbon
blind
copy.
combo copy, yeah, that's
So then what you do is that when you finish writing the letter, you will now write at the bottom carbon copy. Then all the people that are going to receive it, you will write it there. So the original person knows all the where all the
Copies are
copies are
going to.
going to. We don't do clerk work.
true.
Well, it was an
Oh,
interesting era. So, yeah, an interesting era. Okay, okay. Ladies and gentlemen, all around the world, you are in for a bumper edition.
said bumper again.
Yeah, you're in for a bumper edition. I'm here to take you on a wild ride. Ayo, give us those NTA vibes now.
I beg. I'm an internet man. I don't know anything about NTA, please.
Mr. 50
Again, we're
Cent.
Gen Z. Again, we're trans Gen
Mr.
Z.
50 Cent. Can you tell us who your friends are? All right, man. Let's get into it. We have so much to cover, but quick one. I want to get feedback from our Spotify giants. All right, so Spotify enables people to actually write comments to us, and quite a number of people write comments there. So I always read it and publish it. But I said, let's also, and they're just one liners. They're really short, so I'm just going to breeze through it. What they call those things, fireside. Boom, 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 boom. So let's go. And Neficent says, oh, NFNC says 3 hour episode way sweet. I'm going to the defunct podcast A Music in Time to listen to the phase episode again. Hannah D says this was a great episode. You guys are part of my weekly routine, especially on Mondays. Love you guys. Keep keeping on. Ofure says love it. I also think Ashakian needs therapy to keep him grounded. Iyari says more throwbacks. Chibibi 10 says was very disappointed with your views regarding Sheyi and cooking issue. What Sheyi said was disgusting at best, and there's absolutely no reason for that. Men will always be men, even the supposed good ones. Steve, do you see what you're doing? You see what you're putting on?
I know do.
Steve, you see? Steve? All right. Amara
Oh god,
says,
it's
well,
not
this is
that deep.
actually, okay, this is actually Chukuman Quarter. And he says, Osags, FYI, the most of the LTG fans are Android users. I did not shame Android users. That's not what I did. I'm just saying, and
I no shame now.
I actually said that you know they are very expensive iPhones. This is not a price thing, and I'll get into it because I actually met a loose stock giant at an Amala joint in Lagos, and it was an interesting episode. I'll let you guys know. Right, I'm just saying the functionality. That's not even about it. I remember where I put this comment there. I'm going to open the dashboard now. I have access to the dashboard, and we're actually going to check the amount of Android users versus iPhone users on this podcast. Since somebody has made a claim to say that most of the users are Android, we're just going to back it up with data. So I'm going to the analytics dashboard now, and I'm scrolling and devices, iOS 53%, Android 42%. So, Chukuma, I've proved you wrong. OG Francis says, number one podcast in Nigeria. I enjoy you guys' podcast so much. AOT2, how do you write so well? I've read all your articles on the Niger Way newsletter and you write so well. How can I become as good as you?
You have to read, bro. That's all. Make sure you read, and keep reading and practice too. That's all.
Read and practice. Read and practice. All right, Sazi says, as a woman, I am offended that your understanding of running a train is equals to empowerment. This is such a bad faith hot take. The consequences of being promiscuous is running a train. Steve.
What, do I need to even respond to this person? Because that's not what I said now. So there's no need going back and
Exactly.
forth. There's no
Exactly.
need.
That's not what Steve said. That's not what Steve said. Okay. All right. We're done with the fire, the Spotify feedback. Now let's go into fan mail. Fan mail is quite lengthy. You guys are writing very lengthy emails. And I have to just give it, say thank you, taking the time out. Because I have a lot of favorite podcasts I've been listening to over the years. And not once have I thought that I need to write a fan mail. Like I don't care, you know. So I'm glad you guys care enough to write fan mails, and that's why we read them. Right? We've gotten feedback that the fan mails might be a bit too long, but it's part of the show. It's like integrated into the show. And I've also gotten feedback from people who've talked about the people writing in. So we're building a community here where people are writing in and all that. And before I go into fan mail, shout out to Mo that I met at Olaoluwa restaurant in Agidingbi, at Agidingbi in Lagos. I went for my weekly amala, and I didn't even have amala that day. I think I had spaghetti or something, right? But I met him and we had, uh, you know, our meals together at the same table. And he's a very big fan of the podcast. Even the old loose talk, he's been following, the guy mentioned Pop Up Central Ayo.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's crazy. If anybody says Pop Up Central, I know that's a day one person. Yes, Steve.
Talking about shout outs, I forgot to give you a shout out. I didn't forget. I think I was unhappy. I wasn't pleased. That's why I didn't give her a shout out last episode. But I'm not angry anymore. Shout out to you, Onyade. I and Onyade, we met at a
Steve,
restaurant in
you need to put
Lagos.
your lips on the mic.
I was out with the farm, and she came in and she said, "Ah, what's up? Are you still there?" So the reason I'm angry is because she talked about, Ayo being like her sister being Ayo's friend, like that Ayo knows her sister. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I tried, because Ayo is my friend now. How can Ayo know somebody that I don't know? So
Mm-hmm.
so I tried, calling one or two names, and she said, "No, that's not the person." She now said, "Oh, this person is here. My sister is so and so. This person." At that time, I couldn't just recollect or connect anything. Then I spoke to Ayo, and Ayo just mentioned her sister's name. I was like, "Oh, that's her sister." When did she just mention the name now, so that this thing would just sweet? She had mentioned the name that day. The thing was just the more if it makes sense, but she didn't mention the name. So I didn't know that it was her sister. And just sitting down here, it's so painful that I met her and I didn't know that it was her sister. But I just called her sister to say, "Oh, I met your sister here." And the thing
Yeah.
would have been fun, it was more fun
Yeah.
and enjoyable. Shout out to you Onyade. She really listens to the pod and it was nice seeing you. Shout out to you. Thank you for the kind words. And yeah, that's it. Shout out to you.
Shout out to Inyadi and shout out to Mo, friends of the show. All
What did you
right,
call
let's
her,
get
Osagie?
into it. Sorry?
What did you call her, Osagie? What did you call her?
You said her name is Onyade, and I said shout out to
Okay,
Onyade and
okay,
shout
okay,
out to
okay, okay. I
Mo.
just want to know. I just want to make sure that you pronounce this very, very well because that's how
Now
this
I
thing
think
goes.
I'm
wow.
gonna I
Now
think I'm gonna
wow.
pronounce Yoruba words better than you.
Okay, okay, okay. Sure, sure. No wahala. Because you are Yoruba, Igbo, and
Hausa.
Edo.
Federal character.
Thank you. Federal character. Yeah, I take that. I take that. Yeah, it's the name. It's a good. In fact, I have an idea. I think I'm going to, if I had somebody, to just sit down to get this Elon Musk bag, I would just like what our friend is doing one jobless boy. I should actually do the same thing and just name a handle called Federal Character, and he's just
Yeah.
going to do the same thing, curate content. Anyways, I don't have time for that. That's a lot of work that those guys are doing to get those checks, and curating and aggregating content is a lot of work. I respect anybody that is doing it. All right, let's get into it. This is from Marv. Marv says, "Hi, Giants. Is Marv here? An OG listener, but this is the first time I'll be mailing. I remember listening to you first around the ending of 2018 as a bloody 200 level student in College of Medicine, University of Lagos. How much things have changed ever since then. You've helped me grow in so many ways, and I've learned so much from your shared experiences. When you guys went on that breaking, was it 2019 or 2020? Omo, I swear I was heartbroken because listening to you guys then used to be the happiest part of my week. Glad you guys are back. Talking about heartbreak, Omo, I remember sometime in 2019, I was heartbroken and depressed for like had depressed for like months. No vex say I no vex say be like say I too mumu for love then. But listening to you guys was an interesting part of my therapy, just laughing my ass off, then with money and just finesse. Happy times, bro. Now life's a lot better. Starting a great career in tech after 5 years and 2 years of COVID, strike and ASU. Finally graduated out of Unilag. Thank God I don't graduate now, Seth. I think they should probably change the school slogan from University of First Choice and the Nation's Pride to University of First Choice and Adigunjale. Cause it be like say they don't dey enter the business of armed robbery, especially that medical college. Anyways, that's by the way, and not the main reason why I'm mailing. So two things. First, I saw the Ezra's unbelievable liquid tweets and Mukbariwo fuck. I was I must be unbelievable liquid in this life. So I'm curious as someone who is just starting his career, what can I do to be unbelievably liquid in this life? If you guys are to start your careers all over again, what choices or decisions will you take to, take you to that upper echelon? Curious to hear your opinions. Secondly, my friend just released a single and we are trying to brainstorm on how we can help her promote the songs better. She is a really great artist and songwriter, and don't just take my words for it. Stream and tell me what you guys think about it. I'll just do so much love. I just so much love her, and I want her to blow. We're trying a couple of things, but as veterans in the game, our in-house resident music expert and researcher, AOT2, what do you think we can try? Trying paid ads on Instagram and TikTok, promotional videos, and the word of mouth recommendations at the moment. I just think that there's more we can be doing, and we'd love to explore that. This is already a long mail, but I hope you guys get to read it. I'll be on the watch out for your opinions and perspectives on the subject matters. Till I write again, adios. All right, Marv, thank you for sending this in. For the first part about being unbelievably liquid, Steve, do you want to take that or should I start?
No, you can start. You can start.
All right, so what can I
Because
do
me,
to
I know even they believably liquid.
what's your the first question should be what's the definition? Like what's the milestone for being unbelievably liquid? You can be okay, I'm okay, I'm well to do, I'm a high earner. There are those people they call high and not rich high earners, Abby. As there's something called that there's that tag bracket. They are not rich, but they are high earners. But they are not like wealthy. Right? There's that level. There are different levels. But what is the level for unbelievably liquid? That's, and I think it's
$1 million cash assets.
$1 million
that's
No, no,
cash.
no,
unbelievable.
more
Easy.
than,
Will tell you. Some
more
other
than, more
people
than,
will
more
tell
than.
you, okay, so the
Of
threshold
course,
is
it
not
depends on
low.
level, Sha.
Exactly.
I don't see $1 million as unbelievably liquid, Sha.
You don't know
Mm,
relative
One
to
million
him.
dollars.
Relative could be to him.
It's relative. That's what I'm saying. So we can't define it for
relative.
you. It's relative. Mine is
Yeah.
500,000 naira because I don't get money. It's like you laugh.
If that's your
My lord.
unbelievably done.
Unbelievable hammer. Unbelievable hammer.
See, that's believably solid.
But jokes apart,
It
500k,
depends, bro. It
500k is
depends. It
level
depends
for
on who
you.
you ask. If you ask me, I would say in naira. I would say, but I'm not thinking in naira anymore. So, um, 1 million, 1 million.
Hmm. What is unbelievably liquid? You muted yourself, Steve.
Unbelievable liquid. It depends on you. Depends on your
I
poverty
have to
level,
mute
your
myself now. We are
background.
talking about money here. Unbelievably liquid money. I don't get them. That's why I'm muting myself.
Mute yourself.
He left the group chat, literally.
Okay, so sorry, man, I'm sneezing here. So unbelievably liquid, Marv, is your own definition. But again, I think is like you said, is relative, right? So in this relative thinking, right? What do you need to do to become unbelievably liquid? Honestly, earning money is not going to take you to unbelievably liquid status, right? Like your salary is not going to get you there. If you work in 9 to 5,
Yeah.
the only things that get you there are investments. That's like not how much you earn, because as you earn money, you spend money, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is investment. How much investments do you have? And in the long term, right? How much do those investments yield? And we need to get my brother again on one of the episodes, right? To basically break down how people can flip their money, right? And do more with their money. He gave me an example of um, somebody who had a man who had a property somewhere in Lagos worth about 300 million naira, and he was renting that property to traders in Lagos, and the annual income he was getting from renting was 9 million naira, right? Which is crazy. 300 million naira property. So, you know, of course, he's consulting for that for the man, and he advised the man to sell the property, right? And they sold the property, took the 300 million naira, converted it to dollars, and bought a bond. I think it was a dollar bond or a euro bond. And the payout from that bond, right,
Yeah.
every year is about $64,000.
Which is more than a 9 million.
My brother, my brother. Do you understand? So investments, like strategic wise investments, are the things that are going to get you to a certain level that even your salary can get you. So that's the way I have to look at it. So what can you invest in that can bring back? Some people invest in real estate, and that's a very sure one in Nigeria, right? I've seen people invest 30 million naira into a property, into like a joint venture property development, and then the in a year, by the time the property is developed, like no, not like a year, like 18 months, right? They flip it, that 30 million, right, that they've invested in, they sell their own units for up to 65,000 and 65 million, and they put in 30 million. So you've more than doubled the amount that you put in. So they are, again, the more money you have to invest, the more your interest or your yields. So that's one way to look at it. So again, Marv, is very relative. I don't know. You've explained to me where you are right now, but you've also graduated. You've done a lot. You might also have like access to resources and everything. If you are really serious about this, I can do an intro to someone who handles financial investments. However, his clients are $500,000 upwards. So I don't know where you are, but hey, like send another email if you're really serious about it. But yeah, that's my own feedback on being unbelievably liquid. Now, talking about the person who even started this whole conversation on Twitter, right? He became unbelievably liquid when he sold his company, I believe, and they sold the company for what, about 200 million, right? So if you take out the investors' money, blah blah blah, of course you go become unbelievably liquid. It's
One
no way,
time.
you know. So again, that's the way I see it. Who has any? Steve, you wanted to say something?
No,
Yeah, I
I'm
might not
good.
have anything to say
No, I'm
about
good.
being unbelievably liquid, right? But I have something to say about being believably liquid,
Mm,
which is constantly investing in yourself and involving your skills, improving yourself in your skills in whatever you do, seeking information and knowledge. And you asked the question, what would I have done if I started my career again? I think I would have started building a personal brand earlier and just start working on things myself. I do that now. I do consultancy.
Yeah.
I do digital marketing for brands. I do stuff like that. And it's something I would have started doing earlier in my career, but I didn't start it early enough. That it's never late. It's better late than never, right? Which is what I've achieved right now, which is what I'm doing right now, right? But I imagine if I started it like way earlier than I did, I think I would have gone a long way in it, and even maybe start even thinking about just quitting my job and just focus on my own company. Yeah, people have done it before now. They don't get two heads, so I think thinking in that perspective, in anything you do, right? The surest way to get rich is in anything you do, no matter what you do, there's a business aspect to it. Always pay
Yeah.
attention. Pay attention to that the business aspect of whatever you do, and learn that thing the most. The technical aspects are very, very good. That's what keeps you employed. The business aspect is what makes you rich. Let me put it that way. So always pay attention to the business side of whatever industry, whatever sector, whatever thing you are doing. Pay attention to the business of it, and shoot. That's it.
Yeah, I agree
You're
with Steve.
absolutely right. Yeah, you're absolutely right with like investing in that brand in yourself, especially because of where we are. Maybe like 10 years ago, we didn't know things would be like this. We didn't know that, the creator economy would be this big.
Yeah,
We
true.
didn't know that you can become
It's
your
true.
own business
Exactly.
yourself where
Exactly.
you have all the tools. 10 years ago, right? Or
Yeah.
you only had a blog, and that's how people could know if you wanted to build a brand, right? We didn't even know technology would have advanced to the point where you can pick up like a mobile phone with a ring light and create content like this in real time. All these things. So to think in that's like they say 2020 is how do you say it? Hindsight is 2020, right? And but yeah, you're absolutely right. I think if I was to start my own career again, I'll probably have started somewhere around finance and between finance and business analysis. You know, I would have loved to do something around there where you
Hmm.
are working with companies to determine the direction they should take. I think like it's an important role. But yeah, but even your
Yeah,
advice
that's
even
true.
makes
And you
sense,
you'd
right?
have been very good at it.
Individualizing it like would have been amazing as well. So respect to you, respect to you. Okay, the second half of this question, um, breaking an artist. I just want to say before I put it up to Ayo, who's gonna like take it away. um, you just need a lot of money right now. If you don't have money, do not. There's no wishful thinking. There's no it happened by luck. You need money. So either you're signing with someone who has enough money to take you to that next level, or you have money to yourself to be an independent artist. But anyhow, you need a shitload of money. Ayo, please take it away.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think Osagi hit the cook on the head. First of all, you need a lot of cash, bro. The era where songs just go viral and become very popular on its own are dead gone right now. You need capital, huge capital. So you need investments right now. That is the first thing you should look out for. Concerning your strategy, I think when you get the money first is when you can think about strategy second. But strategy also is more. I think the genre of music, the type of music the artist is, will also determine how your strategy will be. There's some artists who are street artists. There's some that will do better on the internet and all that. So the first thing you guys should tackle first is investment. Treat music as a business. Nobody goes into business and just says, "Oh, imagine Apple saying we go rough am. We don't go get money for we won't have money for this. We won't have money for that." It doesn't work that way. So that's how music is. Music is a business. So get that money first, then you cannot talk about strategy.
Solid, solid, solid. All right, let's go to the next mail. This is from Oyeka. Oyeka. Good day, everyone. Hope you guys had a great week. So I have four observations. One, don't you think Nigerians are too broke for all these relationship standards that people set every day?
Now wow. Bass boost.
I think we have. I think we're covering a topic around this. But yes, I actually agree with you. Yes, I think Nigerians are too broke to be having this, and I think that's why they're having the conversation. It's because they are broke. Because if you have money, you won't have these conversations. Second is I feel for the entertainment and sports industry to have genuine core audience that can cater to the players and entertainers. The standards of living of people need to improve. Wait, let me take this again. I feel for the entertainment and sports industry to have genuine core audience that can cater to the players and entertainers. The standard of living of people need to improve. Only a few can pay 20K for a show headlined by their favorite artist or even go to cinema to watch their movies. To me, this is the major reason why we keep losing these artist players to the Western markets. My direct feedback there is, see, what is happening now is Africa is the content, right? The content is Africa, the market is diaspora. We
Yeah,
clearly see it, right? More content is being consumed by diasporas. More people continue to migrate towards more developed countries and become economically empowered, right? And financially empowered, rather. They will continue to long for African content that reminds them of home. And because they have the bigger checks, more
yeah,
of the content creators will direct their content creation or their content towards those audience. It's already happening in football. You have a talented football player, you would rather play for Napoli than play for Inter United,
yeah.
right?
True that.
Because and there are various things here, various things come to play here. First, the standard of play, the standard of the league, right? Then two, how much can they pay me? So take that same thinking and then apply it to every other thing. Apply it to musicians. I drop an album. How many people can genuinely buy my album, right? Without illegally downloading it. Number two, for those who even want to stream it over here, what are the CPM rates? They are less expensive compared to other regions, right? US market, the UK market, Canada, or other parts in Europe, right? So what do you do? Where do you want to go on tour? You're going to go on tour over there now. Ashake is going to
Yeah,
do a million shows over there before he comes to do the show here. It only makes sense. How many people can pay for a show here? So
yes,
what is
you
happening here?
almost feel.
Your naira, right, isn't strong anymore, and well, we can go into that whole why the naira isn't strong anymore. But as a result of that, people will go to where they can get paid more. It's quite simple, you know. I mean, look at not let's even go into it's plain to see, right? So sports, entertainers, all these things, everybody will gravitate towards the markets that can pay them more. You guys have any thoughts on that?
No, you said it exactly, man. The market dictates where you carry your merchandise or your product, and that's what we are seeing in Afrobeats. You can complain, complain, and complain, but it's what feeds them at the end of the day, and that's why at the end of the day, Headies had to even go there because no Nigerian artist who is on tour in America or in England is going to leave his tour to come back to Lagos for one day for an award he might not win, you know. So yeah, that's what it is. It's just economics, pure economics, nothing to do with patriotism or anything.
Yeah, and then we'll go into the Headies thing and all that, but like that's very clear. I
Yeah.
don't think
So
if
so so
yes, Steve, go ahead.
once in a while, I'll just
Okay, you had the third question, but I'm not going to read it. Doesn't enter. Um, okay. Oyekan also says you guys don't really talk about Vector when it comes to hip hop conversations. I also noticed he is like the only big rapper you guys have never had on this platform in the past. All right. Okay. So Oyekan also says you guys don't really talk about Vector when it comes to hip hop conversations. I also noticed he's like the only big rapper you guys never had on this platform in the past. First of all, Vector has been on this podcast. Yes or no? Ayo,
Yes,
please confirm.
2019, Vector had like a 2 hour conversation or 3 hour conversation with us.
Fantastic. And one of those clips has went viral and has
Yeah.
still been referenced till I think yesterday when he was breaking down one of Olamide's lyrics.
Mhm.
And I believe that episode is actually on YouTube, so you can go check it out. All right, so let's move from that to Anonymous. Anonymous says, "Hello, Loose Talk Giants, new fan of the podcast. I've listened to all the episodes since you've come back. Love the pod, but there are a couple of points that have been discussed recently that I feel haven't been discussed with enough nuance. One, cancel culture. Yes, cancel culture is bad and it doesn't allow for growth or forgiveness. However, it doesn't come from a place of controlling people originally. People from people from marginalized groups didn't historically have a voice, and so boycotting people was a way of displaying support for the marginalized groups and also enforcing consequences. For example, if someone says all Delta people are stupid, and this person puts in bracket, I'm from Delta, are stupid. And for whatever reason, people from Delta tended to be marginalized. I will not contribute to that person's financial success because I want to show up for people who show up for me, right? And then if someone is known to be serially tribalistic against Delta people, and Ayo or AOT2 kept collaborating with that person, then it is responsible or reasonable to think that Ayo doesn't care about tribalism against people from Delta. While I agree that this has gone too far, I don't agree it's from a place of control. I also think the rule of thumb about innocent until proven guilty by the law cannot apply for perpetrators of sexual assault because it's really hard to prove this in court. What are your thoughts, guys?
When we're speaking about cancel culture, we're talking about it in the extreme form that exists on the internet. Of course, we all know the origins of cancel culture from marginalized groups, people that didn't naturally have a voice. But right now, just like most movements in the world, it has been hijacked for sinister purposes. So understand your aspect about it. In terms of innocent until proven guilty with sexual violence, um, now who never wear the shoe, now no go know where the pain is. So ideally that should be it, right? When they claim that somebody is being accused of sexual violence or sexual assault, cancel culture straight. But we've also seen on the other side that now we're having in a high number or a significant number of cases where there were false accusations which have led to really really negative consequences, like an example, somebody took his own life over a false accusation, So as much as we want to move forward as a society and eradicate sexual violence, we have to do our best to investigate both parts so that we don't just do jungle justice on somebody's life and ruin the person entirely. Because once you put the toga of sexual violence on somebody or that tag of sexual assault on somebody, it's very hard to take back, even though, you know, the court might say, oh, this didn't happen. Somebody like Mendy right now, at the end of the day, he came out to, he's back in his career, wants to play football, he's playing football. First match, and there are protesters outside when a court actually found him innocent of all claims. But, I understand what you're trying to say. Like, yeah, we understand that women get the short end of, sexual violence and sexual assault and sexual trauma. But also, let's not also neglect that, innocent lives could be lost on the other end too. And if both parties or if this new wave is fighting for equality and equity, then it has to do due diligence to the best of its abilities.
Hmm. Very well said. Very well said. And you know what to pick from what you said there? I want to pick it's the extremism that we are reacting to. I think if anybody, and you know what you've explained here, Anonymous, makes a lot of sense, right? If someone is marginalized and someone is associating with that person, you then want the reasonable thing is to call out that person, say, oh, if you are associating with someone who is attacking a marginalized group, right, then you need to rethink what you're doing. But again, the great part here is, or the for the part I don't see too is the extremism, and it's worrying. So I think we both agree with what you're saying. Second part of what this person said in the first point is about innocent until proven guilty in the by law when it comes to perpetrators of sexual assault. I also agree with you there. It's hard to prove these things. It's hard to prove what has happened in the room. If both of us are in a room and something happens, right, and I give my own version of the story, and the person gives another version of the story, it is now up to that person to prove the the person who is accusing the person of sexual assault. It's up to that person. The burden is on that person to prove, and I think the burden is too much. You need that burden of proof because, hey, how do you prove when you don't have any evidence, and if something truly happened? So I agree to that as well, but it's also a very nuanced conversation. But thank you for highlighting that. Second person's point is black culture. I think the assertion that the shade room should cover STEM subjects is not very fair. We also didn't say that should happen. We, in our previous points, mentioned that we want to see more platforms create more content around things that promote um, um, more promotes the black culture, right, in a more positive light than what other platforms are doing in, so to say, and I put this in air quotes, negative in a negative spotlight. Okay, so the person says, I think the assertion that the shade room should cover STEM subjects is not very fair because black people are allowed to have gossip columns the same way white people do. Agreed. And that doesn't make it their entire culture. I think again our point there is, why is it the loudest in the room? I think that the very reason why some black Americans find Jay-Z a bit much is that sometimes people just want to relax and enjoy things without thinking about political implications. Steve, I'd like you to comment on that.
Jigga.
I'll pass, please. No vex.
Okay, fair enough. Not saying that not saying there isn't a time and place for thinking about issues that affect the black American community, but it's okay for rap music to be about shallow topics as well. There are 100% black STEM communities, but the shade room was never intended to be one. I think this is taken out of context. I appreciate the feedback, but this is not entirely what we said, or exactly what we said. Again, feedback is you guys don't like us talking about this topic, so we're just going to move on from it. The third thing is this one I find the most insidious, the running a train conversation. There is a reason why when you were talking about women finding promiscuity inspiring from the woman's perspective, you said I just had sex with two guys and not two guys just ran a train on me. Having a train run on a woman makes the woman a sexual object, and that in context, sex is something that happens to her, not something she's a part of. It may seem pedantic, but it's really important in shaping the way younger boys think of women. And it is this same thing with the assertion that promiscuity is now empowering. Promiscuity has always been around way before OnlyFans and Runs Girls, and so has prostitution and sex work in general. The only difference is that previously men will be the pimps and provide safety in exchange for a bulk of women's earning. Or in the case of wrong girls, women would be shamed whilst the men will pay, whilst men paying for their service will be hailed and can walk around as respected members of the society. So now, with OnlyFans, women are able to do what was always happening, but just on their terms in a way that they can get most of their money from it. So it's a matter of agency and not a matter of how you look at it. It's the ability to take care of
Sorry,
yourself
sorry, sir. I'm
and
not sure this guy is talking about the Shei matter. This matter don't pass on that thing. He's not talking about this is not the Shei matter we're talking about now. People have to be smarter than this now. No, nobody dislikes this guy more than me. I even tweeted that he's the worst person I've seen on TV. I only said he didn't outrightly allude to rape. So what's this 180 twist? Everybody's just trying to. I even got some DMs on my Instagram. What's it? I don't understand. Uh, uh, I said the guy didn't outrightly mention rape. Did he mention rape? That's the conversation I was having now.
I think, Steve, I think people are triggered that, some people don't know that actually that running trains could be consensual.
I
And
don't
I think that's the
understand. So,
issue. That's the issue
so
here.
you're saying that people who talk about it on Twitter who fantasize about it, are you saying they're lying to the people? People don't do these things in real life.
So
What's
so
this?
people
What's this
so people
twist again?
listen, right? Trains, whether it is two men, one woman, or one woman, two men, is consensual. Whoever now decide wants to be sexual objects. Yeah, so please don't take it out of because I know that when people hear train, they just think, oh, it's rape. No, no, no,
Rape.
no. There are two different things. There are two different things. There's a book I read many years ago that speaks up where women were interviewed and they spoke about their fantasies, and you'll be shocked that even running a train on them is actually the least of things they want done to them.
Bro,
So
you read a book. I don't. Are you not on Twitter?
no, let me just read a book. 'Cause, no, Twitter they can be lying, but let me just read
Oh,
a book
okay.
of scientific somebody who took time to do a scientific study. Let me go even look for that book. I think it's somewhere close to myself.
okay. Can I continue with the mail now?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can continue.
Okay. Um, Saying showing your body is now empowering sarcastically doesn't cover the whole picture, which is that women can dress however they like because they do not exist to be sexual objects. Anyways, sorry to have come for you all. Genuinely enjoy listening to the podcast, but had to just let go, had a lot to let go of my chest. Keep up with the good work and keep and we look forward to listening to more nuanced takes. Special shout out to the lead researcher. Keep up the good work. PS, when you talked about the best Tiny Desk performance, you didn't mention Tiwa Savage, one of my best Tiny Desk performance or Tiny Desk concerts of all time. Yeah, I think hers was amazing. Wait, Tiwa Savage, the one she did in
The COVID one.
the COVID one, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
the one she
watched it. It
did
was
at what's the one that shop
Jazz
again?
Hole, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I watched it. I watched it. Yes, 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 yes. I watched it. Okay, can we move on? Any
Yeah,
feedback would be
Osage,
nice to
before you
hear.
go on, I found the book.
Mhm.
It's actually
Oh,
called My Secret Garden: Women's Sexual Fantasies. A
can
book
you
written
say
in
that again,
1973.
please?
Okay, My Secret Garden: Women's Sexual Fantasies, released in 1973, compiled by Nancy Friday. She collected women's fantasies through letters and tapes and personal interviews. If you can get your hand on the copy on the book, please go ahead and read it.
Okay, thank you so much, AOT2.
Yeah.
All right, this is from Benson. Benson says, "Hello, Giants. I've been a long time listener, but a first time writer. I hope this fan mail isn't too long to read. I still remember describing your podcast back in 2017 when I was working in Nigeria and fighting with Lagos traffic. Those were interesting times to say the least. I haven't missed a single episode since you guys decided to bless us again by starting to fully pod. I recently listened to one of the latest episodes titled STEM, where Osage mentioned an episode about Phase's independent album on a music in time. I gave that pod a listen, and I must say, A Music in Time is like the HBO of podcasts.
Hmm.
Oh, thank you so much. The podcast is such a solid body of work. The way you guys break down the stories is so vivid that I can sometimes visualize myself in the artists' lives and what they have, what they could have gone through when creating those albums. I can't wait for Sage to release more episodes. No one is documenting the stories behind the albums like you guys are, not even the artists themselves. After listening to a couple of episodes of A Music in Time, I took a trip down memory lane and started listening to classic Afrobeat songs. I stumbled upon Idris Abdulkarim's 2003 song Live in Yankee, which is basically him narrating his experience immigrating to the US and the emotional toll it takes on his lover back in Nigeria who was expecting marriage. It made me realize that even 20 years later, the Jackpot story is still prevalent. The urge to leave the country for greener pastures hasn't changed. Even our lead researcher, Uncle Steve, has plans to go to Canada. I haven't been in Nigeria for about 5 years now, and all my siblings, three boys, are here in the UK, leaving our parents alone to face the daily struggles of life in Nigeria. I would love to hear your opinions on how this Japa wave is affecting family structures and relationships in Nigeria. I love you guys and the podcast so much. I try to support the pod through Flutterwave. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Shout
But
out to
for
you.
some but some form for some reason it wouldn't accept my UK cards. Don't worry, we'll fix it. We'll make sure by the time you're hearing this, it is fixed.
Amen.
I'm always there to be of support as the chemistry you when you all are in the same space is impeccable. Yeah, also say I promise myself that whenever you guys record live together, I'll always be there to support. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll plan a live show. Yeah, thank you for the feedback on the music in time. That's why we do it. And I have to give a shout out to my co-host here who have also taken the time to jump on, a couple of episodes. Most especially Ayo, who's like the de facto co-host of the podcast, anyways. All right, let me read this last fan mail, and I have to read it because the person has described herself as AOT2's wifey.
Hey.
And so yeah, it's from AOT2's wifey.
This is
Mhm.
good.
I
This
bet
is
Right
Steve, go and
here.
sleep.
congratulations to you, Ayo.
Steve, go
Are
and
you
sleep
from Ibadan?
first.
Is she
Steve,
from
go and sleep.
Ibadan?
Steve, go
She's
and
writing from
sleep.
Ibadan, right?
Steve, you're sleeping. Sleep. Just go and
Okay,
sleep.
okay,
Thank
okay.
you.
No problem. Oh, sorry, please
Um
continue. This should be interesting.
Thank you for rudely interrupting and then encouraging me to continue. I appreciate you.
Mm, okay.
Yes. All right. So from AOT2's wifey, hi giant AOT2 in bracket my baby. Hmm.
Hey, hey.
All right. Soft spoken Osagie, the real lead researcher.
What?
Yeah, and Steve Dede, the fake lead researcher. How would you?
Ewo.
Oh, yeah,
Matter.
hold on. She describes herself as who? Hey, Titu's wifey. But we
Yes.
don't know you now. You are the fake wife here. Yeah, we don't know you now. You don't get evidence. Why from where now?
Uh,
Me, the fake researcher. It's fine. Fake researcher, fake wife. 1-1. Go, let's draw. Let's
Let's
go.
draw. Everybody go home.
you
Yeah.
said 1-1 and then you said go, let's draw.
Now go
Now
let's draw,
story
my
they
guy.
be. Now go, let's
Now so
draw.
it be. Now go let's draw. Don't worry. Don't need to understand.
All right. I'm writing to address the gender role issue because I think it's important to correct the narrative of certain sexes being naturally set up to take on certain domestic roles or otherwise. As the fan mail writer Godogu from last week said, there is absolutely nothing that one gender, sex, is innately set up to do in the house. Gender in itself and the roles attached to each gender is a societal concept in that it refers to the social, psychological, cultural, and behavioral aspects of human beings as defined by society. Gender is not sex. Sex relates to the biological makeup, while gender relates to the societal and cultural makeup. While the three of you may only have lived in societies where only or even mostly, men do the tasks that require physical strength. I assure you that there are many places, rural and urban, where this is not the case. This has only become the norm because over the years, the society, made up of human beings who have certain ideologies, have continued to promote certain behaviors in men and women as the norm. I'll give myself as an example. I am a woman and I do not enjoy many domestic chores, but above all, I have a strong dislike for cooking. I grew up in a house with three siblings, two brothers and a sister, and all four of us were forced to learn to cook. Emphasis on forced. I did and still do all the things Steve was listing as more masculine assignments: wash cars, change tires, jump started cars on Sunday morning in my church dress. I was happy to help in the house, however, I could and I'd always pick washing a car over cooking till today. In some villages in Africa, women fight in wars while men migrate with the children. Women do the heavy lifting duties. So, in the future, keep in mind that gender roles are determined by society, not nature or biology. Lastly, I agree that the conversation about black culture seems very uninformed, and I'm happy you all have received the feedback graciously. Stay awesome. Steve, this is what I was trying to somewhat explain to you when we had this whole gender role
You people like
conversation.
fights. You people deep this thing too much. It's just this. Let me tell you people, let me tell you something.
Mhm,
In your case where
mhm,
you like washing car, it would be unfair for you
mhm.
to be washing car and people at home after washing car, they will expect you to go and cook. That's what I'm talking about. I was talking about definitions. Like everybody have an assigned role to play in a house, in a household. If you are the one
I-
washing car, someone should be cooking. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying people complaining about cooking, they're not giving us the full context of the dynamics in their home. Are you cooking? Are you the one cooking, cleaning, washing,
mhm.
going to the market and doing everything? You can't just be complaining about cooking only. Cooking is not the only domestic work in the house now, is it? So why is it just the only one everybody talks about? That's my point. People are are you the one doing everything? That's where it becomes unfair. That's
Hmm.
just what I'm trying to say now. You keep complaining just about cooking. Who went to the market to buy those stuff? Who cleaned up the kitchen after you finished cooking? Who's washing the plates? Who is cleaning the house? Who's washing your clothes? Like things like that now. That's just what I'm saying. I'm not this thing is just too deep. People are just putting this thing too deeply. I'm just saying that in a house, everybody has what they do. So why do you keep complaining about one tax? Why is it that one tax is only the issue? Why the other domestic tax at home? Who they do those tax? Don't be if you're the only person doing it. Now understand your own point of being frustrated, right? That you can't. It's unfair for one person to cook, clean the house, wash plates, wash the cars. If in your own case, because gender does not matter to you, you can if you can do physically demanding job even as a woman, it's fine. But other people in the house, what are they contributing? What are they doing? That's my point. You can't wash car after washing car, you go and cook. Why the other people, because they are men, that are home, they're in the sitting room playing game or watching TV. That's not how it's done in most homes. It wasn't done like that in my home. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying this gender thing people keep talking about is fine. It's a societal thing. There's no reason why men dominate the physically demanding jobs and women dominate the other jobs too. There's no reason. It's just society defined everybody, engineered everybody's mind for women to for less women for more men to be in the farms while more women are home. Now society cause it's fine. If that's the way you can explain it, I'm not going to argue with you because I don't even have any problem with your own definition. My own is that one particular task can just be an issue every time on Twitter. Cooking is not the only domestic task in the world. There are other domestic tasks. Who are the people doing those things while you are cooking? That's the nuance I want. That's the context I was talking about. I'm saying if one person is complaining about cooking, it's unfair to other people who are doing the tasks at home because cooking is not the only domestic task. That's just the only thing I'm saying. So this whole
I get what
yeah,
you're saying. I get what you're
man, this
saying.
is just too
My,
deep
my
for me.
point. My,
It's too deep. That's the problem. People are just overthinking it.
my,
Is
my
the
point
problem is
is.
Osagi, let me tell you, my point is you
Mhm.
people are overthinking this thing. What started this conversation was someone complaining about cooking, right?
Mhm.
And I made the point to say that cooking is not the only domestic task that we have in a home, right? So who are the people doing the other task while you cook? And why are you very particular about complaining just about cooking? It's just the question. It's a question I asked, and I said in my own home we share these tasks according to how people can manage and cope with them. The more physically demanding task, we the men at home we did it and left the less physically demanding task for the women. Isn't that fair?
And but what if the women also want to do the physically demanding tasks
They
because
should
they can do it?
they should go and do it now. Then we'll share the cooking for another person. Do you think I liked washing the cars every time? So if my sister said they were going to wash the car, I say no, I must wash the car. You must cook. Is cooking? Did they tie cooking to anybody's head? My
It
sister
does
woke up
not.
one day and said I was going to that she would be the one to wash the car. I was like, oh, you go wash the car while I make the meal. And anyhow I make it, everybody will eat it and everybody will go home. Everybody will go to bed. I never said one person must do one thing or a gender must do one thing. I'm saying share it as I use an example in my home. The reason I started going to the market because I felt I didn't want to stress my wife. If my wife says tomorrow that she wants to start going to the market and I should start cooking, I'll have what do you expect me to do? I should make the woman suffer. She'll go to the market, she'll come back, she'll cook. After cooking, she'll go and start doing other domestic tasks at home. Then what am I doing? Give people the role that they can do comfortably so that everybody will be happy at the end of the day. It's just that's what's fair now. If you as a girl you like washing cars, please get on it. And it's fair in that situation. It's only fair that while you are washing cars, other people are also doing other domestic tasks at home so that you are not burdened with everything. That's what I'm saying now. I never said women must cook or men must go and wash the car. That's not what I said. I said in my own home, we looked at it and said, you know what? What tax? What are the tasks that are physically less demanding? Those are the ones women can do. They choose them. They choose it themselves. We didn't force it on them. Nobody forced anything on anybody. You can't. There's no growing up. There's no way you can make my sister go and wash the car. You can never do that. Like you can. The heaven will come down. She won't wash the car because she does not like doing it. Right. So the only thing she liked doing was cooking. Then who am I to say, oh, because I'm a man, society should not force me to wash cars. I want to cook too. Is it fair on her to force her to do what she does not like?
Mm.
Yeah, I'm not talking about society. I talked about my own home, my own experience. And I didn't say anything about experiences. One particular task can be a conversation every time. It lacks context, it lacks nuance, it's not detailed in the conversation is not detailed enough. We're just deceiving ourselves and just waste away our time on Twitter by just discussing unimportant stuff like that. If you as a girl at home, you said you were doing, I think she said she was having a classes, she goes to a She goes to school remotely, right? So you're focusing on your studies, right? And your family is still making you to cook. It's still forcing you to cook. That conversation is not nuanced enough because cooking is not the only thing that you need to run a home. Somebody is going out there to work and bringing money to you for you to go to school and to provide all the food in the house. Somebody is making sure your house is like the house that you're living in is clean. Someone is making sure they are going to the market to buy the food stuff they're going to cook with. Someone is making sure that after you cook, they're cleaning up the kitchen after you. Why are those things not the conversation? Why is cooking only the problem? Your conversation is not detailed enough, it's not nuanced enough. You are deceiving us. You are being hypocritical about the whole situation. You're not being truthful at all. So there's no way I can have that conversation with you on Twitter because it's not detailed enough. A detailed conversation should be, oh, I would love to do other tasks and not cooking. You can't be in a home and you're not contributing to anything. That's irresponsible. That's entitlement. If you are living in a house and you are in a household with people, you should be able to contribute meaningfully to anything they are doing in the house. So what's your own part of the whole thing? Just because you are going to school, nobody should deceive you and should disturb you. That's being entitled. That's being irresponsible. Responsible people should take on tasks anywhere they are and make sure they deliver them on time and deliver them in an efficient manner. So what are you doing at home? If you are the one cooking, make sure you serve it and cook and move on. If you're the one washing cars or keeping the houses clean, do them and stop coming on Twitter to disturb us. We have important things to do with our lives.
You can explain no evidence.
I get you, Steve. Because I understand Steve's point. Why is it that nobody comes to complain about cleaning the house? Nobody comes to complain about washing the bathroom. Nobody
Cleaning the
complains about
gutter.
any other physical um chore in the house. It
Bro,
is always cooking. It is
bro,
always
the thing
cooking.
is mad. And cleaning the house is wild because me, I even staying up like my street is kind of like close to the also my house now is close to the road. So
Mm-hmm.
and especially during dry season, right? My house is
No,
always
wait,
dusty. So every
before
morning there's
before you
something
even say close to the road, Steve lives
exactly.
in a wait. Steve lives in a gated community. Oh, just to put
Oh
that out
shit.
there.
Tech bro.
Steve well.
You know,
Tech bro.
so every morning you must sweep my house. Oh, like my house must be cleaned all through
Mm-hmm.
so that I won't come down like me matching like sand in my house or anything like that, right? And it's
Mm-hmm.
also safer for the kids when everywhere is clean, right? You know how
Yeah,
children
yeah.
is, they just go and pick up something from the floor and just start eating. So I
Mm-hmm.
have to make sure that everywhere is clean. So if someone is doing that every day, right? Why is cooking now a problem? Do you understand what I'm saying?
I
I
get
don't
you.
get it. Every time cook, 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 cook. And that's not
I
the only
get
thing we do at home. And it's not even shout out to everybody who is being triggered by saying this, but it's not a physically demanding task. Like it's demanding, but it's not like
It's
it's
not
not as if
bricklayer work. It's
it's
not
not
bricklayer
bricklayer
work.
work. Now, there's so many difficult things happening in the world now that people are suffering, people are going through things, people do hard stuff. So why is it that cooking is the only thing that we see on Twitter? Okay, if you are not cooking now, what do you want to do? Do you want to wash car like our like
I
ATT's
think
wife?
there's a
If you want to wash car, fine.
Pause,
Then
pause, pause, pause. Thank you.
if you want to wash car, like see, if she was growing up in my house and she said she wants to wash car, we'll sit down and they would assign another tax to me that love washing car, right? Like me that they assigned the car that was formerly assigned to washing cars. If she says she want to be washing cars, they'll say, "Oh, Steve, what will be your own job in this house?" I must have a job. That's the way we're brought up. You must contribute meaningfully to the household that you are growing up in. If you don't do that, that means you become irresponsible, and that is how you raise kids who grow up and just start throwing tantrums because you told them to, you send them to do a domestic task. My own point is, what are you doing? How are you contributing to your home to make sure that your home is livable? Simple. If you're not cooking, are you cleaning? If you're not cleaning, are you going on errands? Are you going to the market? Do something.
I think the cooking carries like a deeper meaning, especially when even beyond like going from family to into like relationships and having partners. Oh, I'm not cooking for you. I'm not. I think there's a deeper meaning there,
That's
and I
that's
think
my point. That's the thank you. This is a good conversation to have. What's the
yeah, and I
deeper meaning
think
in it?
the deeper meaning there is
Yeah.
I will not be subservient to you, right? We are equals in this relationship.
Okay, please hold on, hold on.
I think
So hold on.
that's I think
Okay,
that's
okay,
what
hold on.
I
Let me
think.
ask you a question.
Yes, but
Right.
even wait, I know
So
where you are going because
if
even
you and
that
I live in a
analogy,
house,
right?
Osage, if you and I
Yeah.
live in a house, right,
Mm-hmm.
and you wake up in the morning, right? Let's say for example, okay, let's say for example, we stay in a house where there's water, there's light, there's everything,
If
right?
we're roommates, yeah.
We're roommates, and I wake up in the morning and I sweep and make sure everywhere is clean. Like every 2 days, I mop the house, right, and it's sparkling clean, right? Once in a while, I bring down the curtains and I wash. I use washing machine, right? I go to the market, I buy food stuff. Like how is this different from cooking? So I'm doing these things. Doing this thing, does it mean I'm subservient to you too? If I'm doing this, like
Mm.
you are cooking, why is cooking the big deal? That's my point. Because cooking is not the only task at home. For you to cook, there must be other things available. Like for example, the food stuff, right? Right? The food stuff must be
Mm-hmm.
available. The kitchen must be clean. Stuff must like for example, I know how like I love cleaning the gas cooker, the
Yeah.
gas cooker stuff, right? Like, right? Even before we had someone to come do it for us, it was one of the things I knew how to do very well. Like everybody in the house knows that I really know how to do it. Not just from the house, like even while we were growing up, it's something that when I just started doing it, everybody just left it for me. So if my mom sees the cooker very dirty, she's like, Steve. I'm like, oh, I've forgotten before. Just go and do it. And because I just knew it was my job, just because I was the one who knew how to do it very well. Like I took an interest in it and I
Mm-hmm.
started cleaning it. So it became my job automatically. It's not something that anybody would remind. Like you remind me once in a while, maybe I've forgotten. But immediately you call my name and say, Steve, the gas cooker, I'll understand that it's my job because I took it upon myself because I love doing it. Right? Same as
Yeah.
how they assign washing of cars to me. Let me tell you, in every relationship, for any relationship to work, be it boyfriend and girlfriend, husband and wife, friends, there must be that element of service. If you're not ready to serve, you won't have any successful relationship. Osagi, you
Mm.
are my friend. That instances where you've served me, where you've been subservient to me, that instances where I've been
Mm.
subservient to you. There's that instances where I've been of service to you to make sure that you're okay, to make sure you are good,
Yeah.
right? That instances where you've been of service to me to make sure that I'm okay, I'm good. That is
Yeah.
how relationship works. You can't have relationship. You can't like expecting to have successful relationship with people without serving them is being irresponsible. The meaning of friendship is service. You have to be of service to people.
Mm.
If you have a son or you have a child, you have to be of service to them. If you have a husband, if you have a partner, you have to be of service to them. If you have a friend, you have to be of service to them. That's how you groom relationships. That's how you cultivate that friendship to become what it is. You
A
can't live in a
bond.
house and say you don't want to be subservient to anybody. Husbands should serve their wives. Wives should serve their husband. That is the way to cultivate and grow a healthy relationship. So this idea of you are cook for you, that means I'm subservient to you, does not make sense. It's just a game of it's a game of I don't know how to put it. It's just a game. It's a game. And if you're in a serious relationship, if you're in a friendship, in reality, you shouldn't be playing games. That's my own point. These things not be big deal. That's why I keep saying it. In real life I've never seen cooking be a problem for couples. This thing is just a social media conversation. That's why I don't like having it. It's just a social media thing. It's just people coming on Twitter just to raise conversation. I've
Yeah.
not seen this thing apply in real life where cooking they cause trouble every time. It does not make sense because there's so many things that make a family, there's so many things that make a household, be believable than just cooking. I'm just tired of talking about this thing now. Like it's taking up my time and energy. Like, it's not worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. I've not seen Steve as passionate as this passionate in a very long time.
I'm on
I
a
mean, you are.
rant.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it's
No,
just
I
annoying. I don't
felt
know
it.
why it's. I don't know. I don't know why. It's just. It's just. I don't want people to just grow up being entitled or being irresponsible. If you're a responsible person, if you wake up from anywhere you are in the morning, how can I be of service? How can I be of good use to the people around me? That's the first thing I think about myself. How can people around me? How can I make their lives very very easy? From my wife to my children to my friends to my neighbors. That's how I live my life. That's how I hold myself accountable. I hold myself accountable for everything. What's my responsibility here? How do I do it? What should I do to make people happy? To make people comfortable, people that I love, people that I stay with. That's how to live life. You can't just wake up and just be a vagabond. I've not heard that word since 1986.
Vagabond.
It's fine.
Old Nigerian lang.
If I'm not making sense, you guys have the right to come here and say we're not making sense. I'm just this is how I am.
I clearly see your point, and I think it's the I think it's it's a nuanced conversation, and I want us to keep having this conversation. I want people to react to this. I want people to write in, and then we'll discuss it. And we have some headway. It's the only way. I think for a few weeks now we've been going back and forth on this issue and a couple
And
of
this
other
cooking
issues.
thing is it's too long, man.
Yeah, but I do appreciate it because we need to see like different perspectives as well and
Please, man,
understand.
man, you people that go and queue for fuel and go and please you to write that you don't want to do generator work anymore. Because it seems it's only one side. Because men don't talk. You two don't you say you are tired. You don't want to do any generator work anymore. Finish.
Oh, wow.
I understand the conversation about cooking if people are really frustrating you and leaving everything to you. You are the one going to the because this cooking we're talking about is an everyday thing, because people have to eat every day. But if everybody is contributing equally and fairly to a process, I don't see why it should be a problem. So you know what? Anytime I see people complain on Twitter now about cooking, I will just jump into a conclusion that in a toxic relationship. Because if
Hmm.
you're in a healthy relationship, cooking should not be a problem because everybody should be contributing equally and fairly to a process to make everybody happy. So if you're growing up, if I see you on Twitter and I just complaining about cooking, I just feel that you're in a toxic relationship. You come from a toxic family, and all I have to do is just pray for you, for God to help you.
Oh she. Holy
That's it.
police.
Hey, to the wife, with these few words of mine, I hope I've been able to convince you and
Steve,
not confuse you.
you're not coming for the reception. That's what we're telling you. Don't worry. We'll send you the
And not
cake.
confuse you that society does not determine anything. Make everybody just do the one when go make them happy. Just remember, you have to be accountable and responsible. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Mr. Didi.
I said you are welcome.
You're welcome, Mr. Didi.
I don't
So
tire
yeah,
for
you're
no for now.
welcome.
People are stressing
Yeah.
me.
All right, let's go to something more lighthearted. Hopefully, it's lighthearted. The Headies.
Hopefully it's lighter there. Oh, Osagie. You they play.
They
Why did he
they
why did he
play.
make why did he make Arista angry now? That's my babe. Oh.
Are
What
you
happened? Why did
serious?
they give her award
Calm,
off
yeah,
stage?
yeah, yeah. Steve, calm down, calm down, calm
What's up?
down. First of all,
What's up?
thank you.
What's the name
Osagi,
of
please.
our what's the name of our fan group? Of our fan club?
Mobstars.
Short skirt,
Mobstars.
short skirt.
Yeah,
That's the name of the
Mobstars.
group.
It's called
Ayo,
Mobstars.
be serious.
Okay.
Called
Osaka, are you
Mobstars.
serious? Is it Mobstars? I like it if it's
Yeah, yeah.
Mobstars. That's the Jay Z and Drake
Mobstars.
record. Do you remember?
Mobstars. Jay Z
Osaka
don't
does
do
not
that.
know. Osaka does not know Drake like that.
I say, what do you mean I don't know Drake like that?
You
I
don't know
don't
Drake like that. Do you know
He
Mob
ain't,
Ties?
he ain't new
um,
school.
how would I know Mob Ties?
Okay, you know Mob Ties. Okay, okay.
Ah,
Shout out
it's
to you.
not
Shout
like,
out to you.
na, 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 na,
Osaka, you
na.
never showed us that you like Drake. You don't like Drake. Osaka, I just have a feeling that you don't like Drake. You don't fuck with Drake. Aya, what do you think? Am I right?
What do
You
you
know
mean I
why?
don't like?
Because
Yeah, why?
Drake is the new Jay Z. That's why. So
Mm,
yeah.
See. Guys, that's not
yeah.
true.
What's not true?
How can you just say I don't like Drake?
I said
The
I
only
have a
meaning
feeling. I didn't say you don't like Drake. See, don't do like the
I
our,
have a
the our
feeling.
listeners that are writing to us. Listen to me.
No vex. No
Don't.
vex.
I didn't say
No
you
vex.
don't. I didn't say you don't like Drake. I said I have a feeling that you don't like
Mm-hmm.
Drake. There's a difference now.
Mm.
So it's on you to tell me that your feelings are right or you are wrong. So shoot.
Your feelings are wrong.
Simple. Now fight.
No be fight. No
Yeah,
vex.
that's how you have conversations.
No vex. No vex. Yeah, I'm a big
Okay.
Drake fan.
All
My
right.
best Drake album is Nothing Was the Same.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
That's it.
yeah,
That's it.
that's my best
Yeah,
Drake
Millennial Drake
album.
fan. We Gen Z, our best album is Views.
If you're reading this, it's not too late.
Yeah, yeah. That can go too.
That can go too.
Mm. No, definitely not. I like Drake when he makes real like good, rap music, that kind of music. So, I like the Views album as well. I think it's a dope album. Of course, none of the same is like my best Drake album. Yeah, big Drake fan. Love all
How
the
did you get
records.
here? So mob ties are the name is the name of Arresta's fan
Not
club.
mob ties, mobsters, mobsters,
Mobsters, mobsters.
Mobstars. Okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay, 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 okay.
mobsters with two B's.
So I'm a
yeah.
mobster. All right. Shout out to me.
Pause.
Mobster. So
Why are you
MO.
pausing it? Is it a
Because mobsters need to wear shorts. Where's your short skirt? You don't have short skirt now. Where's your short skirt?
bro? So let me tell you, men can wear short skirts. Society cannot define what we wear, what we don't wear.
My own
You
society. If
don't
you
understand,
wear, if you wear an me, I go flog you kill. But that's my own society. My own Evian inside
bro.
Evian. I beg. I beg.
My brother, bro. You have to agree that. Let me tell you, you have to agree that gender in itself and
Mm,
the fashion styles attached to it, then gender is a societal concept.
Speak
Is
Gen
it?
Z brother. Speak Gen Z brother. I beg. Please, Osagie, Headies.
All right.
Yeah. The
You've
Headies.
not answered me now. Yeah, you've not answered me why they give my girl this
That is
award
what we're
outside
about to
of it.
talk about now. Calm down now. Ah,
Yeah, talk about it. Talk
you
about
fake
it.
feminist ally.
I'm not. Why is the word fake just trending today? If people are just being mischievous with this fake thing, I'm the for full. I'm the lead researcher of this podcast, right? I'm a feminist ally. There's nothing fake about me. I'm real,
Okay. Shout out to you.
very very
What's
real.
my motherfucking name? Are you Ellie? All right. So the Headies. Who did you? Ayo, did you watch the show?
Unfortunately, I had a very blissful sleep, a nice slumber, so I could not watch it.
Okay, Steve, did you watch the award ceremony?
Um, I was awake and I was reading. I was studying,
So, all
bro.
you said all
Bro.
that. Hold on. You said
We
all
are
that.
washed. We are washed, bro.
Wait, now you said all that just to say no.
Yes, no, I wasn't. I was
No, I
awake, but
didn't watch.
I was studying. I was actually awake. I was awake that night from 12:30. I started reading from 12:30 a.m. to 4 a.m. 4 a.m. I went to bed. Then
Okay.
in between, there was one 5-10 minutes. I went on Twitter. I saw that the Headies is on. Then I made sure I was without my phone for the remainder of my time awake, and that was how I was able to study well and cover everything that I was supposed to cover and slept by 4 a.m. Shout out to me. You know, you taught me now when I was complaining about not being able to focus. You said, take your phone away. And I did that. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why you are my friend. You saved me there. You were responsible for me studying well. Right?
We know, we know. Thank you.
All right.
Yes, I
So
said
back to
it.
the headies.
Yeah, that's service.
Yeah, that's
Service.
service. Yeah, that's
That's
service.
service. All right. So yeah, I watched. Okay, so I was I caught a bit of the Headies, and it was so I was watching. Shout out to Imaoni. He has That's like when you talk about the front the forefront of Afrobeats curation, right? I won't particularly say journalism because he doesn't describe himself as a journalist. But when it comes to like reviewing music and all that, he's in the Afrobeat media space and he's done an excellent job over the last years. He did a watch party, so I was watching his watch party. So the awards show is being live streamed on YouTube. Then he live streams it on his own live stream and then comments on it. And it was pretty interesting because he's giving the commentary. People are giving their own feedback in the live chat section and all that. And it was interesting to watch. Um, the headies is the headies. Okay, so disclaimer first, right? I used to be a core academy member of the headies for I think about 4 or 5 years.
Should I do a disclaimer too?
If it would be good to give disclaimer. So,
It's funny because
um,
this is something
Yeah.
I want.
So me, disclaimer also, I'm a member of the academy. 2 years now. Yeah. So yeah, I'm a member of the academy.
The
Please don't let this
disclaimer
go
is
viral.
paining.
Yeah.
The disclaimer is paining me because this is an information I wanted to use to bully and extort Ayo.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it's
sorry.
fine.
You can't shame the shameless.
Now that he
Sorry.
has gone public with
you can't shame the shameless. Right. So I was a core academy member. I resigned last. I think I resigned. Yeah.
This year.
No, last year. Well,
Okay,
last
okay,
year was
okay.
my last official working in working capacity and all that. Sha. So yeah, I left that and all that. So Um, I'm not going to give
Why,
you a
why did you
very.
leave?
Why did I leave? No, I'm not going
Mm,
to discuss all of that here now. My
okay.
reasons for leaving and all that. But I'm also not going to give a very what do you call it now?
Objective.
A- Objective and biased. I'm sorry. I'm
Obviously,
not
you're
going to
biased.
I'm not going to give a very objective review of what happened. So if you guys are looking for objective review from Usagi on this one, no. That's why I'm giving you guys the full disclaimer, you know, that I used to be part of this group and all that. All I'll just say is we need to strive for more excellence, right? That's what we need to do. It's glaring. There are some things that were glaring. Some of the production needs to be better. Some of the performances need to be better. All these things. We need to strive for excellence in everything that we do. And the more we strive for excellence, the better the outcomes will be, right? Now, because I've also been at the back end of things, I would also tell you that as you are trying to strive for excellence, right, there are a lot of factors that are pulling you back or are impeding, that your drive to reach the zenith of excellence. And
Village
some of
people there among the factors.
a
They're
choke,
not there.
they are,
Possibly, they could be among.
and
Okay.
those things, just make things mess things up. For example, it'll be, and this is what the award show has, faced in a couple of editions. You want to award people, you want to give people awards, you want to bring people on stage, but these people are not even present. That's
Yeah,
one. That's one big headache. And this is not deflecting from the organizers and throwing it on the artists. I'm just saying, we've said it now that the award show needs to strive for excellence and can be way better than what it is. Right? That's one thing. But on the other hand, there are some things they are trying to achieve that they can't just achieve. You can't award somebody that is not present at the award show.
like somebody who won, sorry, somebody who won 3 hours last night and was not available.
My brother, when they used to do this award show at a cool hotel, and the winner is XYZ, the person is still in the hotel room. Show has started.
It's
Do you
mad.
know?
Yeah,
It's
yeah, I know.
happened.
I know all the stories now.
That person, please calm down. That person will say, how many people are there? Are people there yet? So the thing, the story plenty. You understand? The consistency, 16 edition, right? 16th edition. Consistency is crazy. Now the whole controversy of should we take it there, should we bring it here? We clearly see and we've had this conversation. Africa is the content, diaspora is the market. Everybody will move
Simple.
and face, a market that can get them more money. I can't fault anybody. Number two, it's a private organization. Don't Nigerianize it. What do people try and do DSTV and try and make it look like it's a Nigerian agency? It is not. It's a private organization. The board or the owner can do whatever he wants to do with it. This is business.
Yeah, it's not a Nigerian institution at all.
Do you understand? So that whole thing of it has to be done in let your government set up a recording academy and or the at least the creative ministry of which ministry is this now? Cultural is no Ministry of Culture
Yeah, Mr. Question
and
and Tourism.
Arts or tourism. They should create their own award show or their own pipeline to celebrating artists, whether it's in whatever section, movies or music and whatever, and then have a recording academy and do something in Nigeria. But anybody's private business, just like anybody listening to this podcast, you started your business in Nigeria. If you want to take your business out of Nigeria, nobody is going to stop you. So it's the same way, right? The show itself, I'm not going to get into it. The winners, that's very subjective. I don't have an issue with that. I saw Ira Star come out to speak on the why women were not awarded on the show and all that.
Yeah,
And I
some
think again,
categories were not mentioned.
yes. So what happened is that some categories were not mentioned. Now it just so happens that a bulk of those categories that were not mentioned or were not awarded on stage, right, include almost all the women, the female categories, including female artist of the year, female vocal performance. I think
Yeah.
those are like the two key ones, and a few others. I think maybe women won,
I
and
think
these
best
are
R&B
just
single or something like that. I remember.
yes, and this just happen to be a coincidence. It has nothing to do with oh we didn't want to award women. It just happened. It could have because other awards were also not mentioned. But the problem is that a bulk of winners are always male because it's a male dominated industry.
Yeah,
And so that happened. So I understand Ira's point. I think there should be more scrutiny on just the general organization than oh they didn't award like women on stage, blah 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 blah.
yeah,
And guess what? Maybe they should have announced it. But the feedback I'm hearing is that some of these people were not even in the hall, right? But
hmm,
maybe again, just go ahead and announce it. But I also understand from a production point of view, right? It is not a good thing, or it is not a good sight to announce winners who cannot pick up their awards on stage. It's not good for production.
definitely.
So again, we'll be here next year. I was having a
Definitely.
conversation with someone, earlier today, and what should be happening is that you should just have more than one award. I think that even takes off the load, or that even creates competition rather, with the Headies and maybe another platform that can create another award show that's just as good or better, right? And then they can compete for what? For excellence in production and on organization. What I want to see more is can we have a recording academy like the Grammy has?
That is the cocoa.
Can we
That's the first thing.
yeah, where we can clearly document. And I love what you know Ayo is doing at turntable charts with documentation of music, the charts, awarding people with plaques who have hit a certain milestone and all that. And I hope a platform like Turntable Charts can have their own award ceremony in the nearest future and build up from there. That's my whole thoughts about the Headies.
So yeah, jumping to that conversation about female artists not being recognized. That was a production flaw. I was even surprised. It was only when I tweeted about it that I even knew something like that happened because I didn't even know. I just saw the winners list, which I didn't even know like 90% of the winners because I just did my own part and the winners were winners at the end of the day. It wasn't a it wasn't calculated or wasn't deliberate at the end of the day. It just happened. It was one of those silly things that happen when things don't just go according to plan and something happens by mistake and it now leads to a bigger narrative, which is not true. I know in the nomination process where we all, insisted that even if there was no female nominee in any category, a female nominee had to be there just for female presence, just to help, the ladies in the music industry. So I don't think that whole accusation of, them being biased towards women stands. Well, it is on Twitter, people run without narratives. When it comes to the winners, I have no problem with that. Every award ceremony will have its own winners by determined by their own by the different factors or criteria they set up for themselves. So that I have no issue with that. I like Osagie said, it's just the production. The production has to be excellent, and I don't just think it's the headies. I think it's just a culture we have in Nigeria. If you look at all our live events in the first place, 30 December is around the corner, and once again, we'll see Nigerians complaining about the same old thing, and it's just a culture of excellence that we need in Nigeria on how we do things. Even goes down to the people who are attending artists, if you know you're a nominee, it behooves you to just even come early at the end of the day. If you know you're a guest, please come early at the end of the day. And that's why I respect the AMVCA. AMVCA will write it there, 7 p.m., doors will close because they're going live. If you're not in the hall by 7 p.m., the doors will be closed. I think Headies should borrow that leave. And there's no this thing. If you're not in, you're not in. That's it, as simple as that. But yeah, shout out to Ayanima Shan doing this again. Started since 2006. It's not beans. There have been many award ceremonies along the line that have died after 2, 3, 4 seasons. I also think they just need to revamp a few more things at the end. Just tweak some processes, and I think it'll be greater. As for the America talk, Afrobeat is no longer Nigerian. It's to the world right now, and America is where the money is. The UK is where the money is. So is only right. And you can't get all those artists. Most of them were on tour to now come back to Lagos for one night for an award they might not win and go back again. They have to weigh the options. If you have $40,000 waiting for you in Dallas, it makes no sense for you to come back to Nigeria for just an award ceremony. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and having said that, I do think Magic Sticks should have won Producer of the Year.
I don't know anything about that, man. I just did my own job. I just did my own job with the nominees, man. But if I wanted
Yeah,
somebody to win, if there was anybody that I wanted to win, it should have been Magic Sticks.
yeah, for Producer of the Year because of the way they defined him and Ashake defined a certain sound
Yeah,
that was immediately adopted. People tried recreating that
yeah,
sound, and
duplicated
it
it.
became a sound of the moment.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's one. There was something else I wanted to mention. Damn, I forgot. Yeah, I think in terms of like production excellence, right? Excellence in like production of shows. People should look towards the church. I saw a lot of feedback on that yesterday.
yeah.
The experience is
Mm-hmm.
done at TBS, and my
It's
goodness,
flawless.
what
It's
a
flawless.
production! Yeah,
Yeah,
or even every Sunday service, church service.
it's mad.
Go to House of the Rock on a Sunday. Production is, the pastor comes out and says, you know, open your Bibles to First Kings, bro. That shit is on the screen as quickly
ASAP.
as
ASAP.
before the guy starts reading, it's there, and he says, "Oh, scroll down to let's quickly go to Second Kings," and the guy just puts it on the teleprompter. Like, fam, it is church service productions are A1.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think there's a lot to learn.
Also, they have a lot to learn from. We don't want to borrow a leaf. They should go and see how the AMVC does stuff too. AMVC is spotless production from beginning to the end.
Yeah, yeah. All right, this topic we want to talk about. I promise. I hope I don't end up shouting on this episode.
Now you are still go shout over for this one.
All right, this whole Yahoo Boy tech bro conversation. Oh God, I don't know where to start.
Start from the context. Start from the background. What led to it?
Let's start from backstory, Abby.
Yeah,
All right, so backstory of this whole reintegrating Yahoo Boys, so to say, and Yahoo Boys, and I use Yahoo Boys. I put air quotes Yahoo Boys into upskilling, people who have dabbled into fraud or who are about to dabble into fraud, upskilling them with tech skills, right? The whole conversation, I don't know how it started, but it became a conversation where people were saying, "Oh, why do you want?" Someone came and the conversation was around how do you um help out young people moving into or young people moving into internet fraud or trying out internet fraud or being recruited to carry out internet fraud. And then, there was an opinion that came about saying, "Oh, why don't you train these people with the relevant tech skills so they can apply themselves in other areas? They can apply themselves to actually having jobs where they can pay, well, having jobs where they can, I mean, fend for themselves, etc., and not choose a life of crime, right?" So other people, the other side of the opinion or the other opinions were, "Oh, why do you want to teach people who have committed fraud or who perpetrate fraud with tech skills?" Right? And then there was that whole back and forth. And Tunde Onokoya, I don't know if you don't know Tunde Onokoya, is the um I don't know how to describe it, maybe a convener or the person who has run Chess in Slums. The guy who has gone to the slums in Lagos and, trained young boys and upskilled them. And he does that through his way of capturing these boys, so to say, is through chess. Teaches them how to play chess. And from there they've helped a lot of young boys. They've raised a lot of money to help the young boys, move them out of the slums, train them, etc. etc. So he's well known for doing things like that. Very lovely initiative. So he did a whole thread, right, about this whole tech and Yahoo Boy conversation. And he broke down how easy it is, right, to recruit young boys into a life of internet fraud, right? He explained with a lot of context. He explained that there are a lot of gray areas. And I'll read some of his tweets. He said, I'll start off with saying that as a 17-year-old teenager from Ikorodu, the only thing that prevented me from getting into Yahoo was because I couldn't afford a laptop. Not morals, not religion, not convictions. If someone had introduced me to HK, then maybe I would have been on a much different path, one that leads to Tunde Wire, right? HK, I believe, is an acronym for, is it Hustle Kingdom?
I don't know. I was
Yep,
also
it's also Kingdom. It's
okay.
also
Hustle
Kingdom.
Kingdom.
Hustle
Okay.
Kingdom. Yeah. And so he says, this desperation became deeply rooted in my heart due to many nights I watched my mother go to bed. Many nights I watched my mother go to bed hungry. Things are a lot more intense now as mothers are taking loans and plunging themselves into massive debts to buy laptops for their sons to start doing Yahoo. This is not hearsay. To them, a worthy sacrifice as it could be their only ticket out of generational poverty. To really understand this Yahoo Boy scourge, we need to get off our Twitter high horse and feel the pulse of the streets. We can't keep complaining about effects without addressing underlying causes. Dismissing it as just greed or theft lacks depth and is too inconclusive. It is a crime, no doubt, but it is easy to be judgmental about crime when you live in a world privileged enough to be removed from it. The streets has taught me that everyone has different notions of right and wrong and what level of crime they are willing to participate in. Bro, did you hear what this guy just said?
Yeah.
The street taught me that everyone has a different notion of right and wrong and what level of crime they are willing to participate in.
Mm-hmm.
Apply that thing across all the socioeconomic classes. We'll get there. I'll use Ikorodu as an example, as it is home for me. If you randomly select 20 teenagers between the ages of 14 to 18 in Ikorodu, I can assure you that 80% are already into internet scam and the remaining 20%, given enough time, will eventually give in to peer pressure. This is honestly how bad things currently are. The journey of most Yahoo boys doesn't begin in adulthood. We lose most of them within the ages of 14 to 18. The gap years between finishing secondary school and gaining admission into university is where they are most vulnerable. Then it talks about how they get recruited into these networks, popularly known as HK. They have a mentor who houses them, do you understand? Feeds
Yeah.
them, teaches them all the kind of tricks, phishing, dating scams, wire fraud, etc. etc. Right? And then you have these HK scattered across the country, Lagos, Benin, Warri, everywhere, right? They're in hotels, they're in houses, they're everywhere. And they have the same lifestyle. They use drugs, they flaunt wealth. It's the same
Yeah.
thing. You know, staying in Ugudu, I see them come from the Ojota area when they come to some of the restaurants to buy food and they come with one Benz, you see all of them, you can tell, right? There's something this gentleman said, right, that makes a lot of sense. And I'll get there, but he says what? He says, how can we, I'm skipping some of this, I'll put this thread, we'll put this thread in the show notes. It says, what can we do differently? 2 years ago, my mentor, Johnson Abali, called me and said he wanted to be involved in a project called the Smartan House in the slums of Ikorodu. The idea behind this was to create a parallel culture that rivals the Yahoo Boy culture, our own HK. The experiment was to find some of the smartest teenagers in Ikorodu living in extreme poverty between the ages of 14 and 18, and find some more teenagers already involved in internet scam and bring them together in a Smartan house for 8 weeks. We called it Smartan Crubicle or Crookable. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that well. In those 8 weeks, they learned these skills under the guidance of mentorship of Johnson Abali. We separated it into three prongs and created a world class curriculum to introduce them to the world of tech and mindfulness, a foreign concept to most of them at the beginning. Communication and presentation skills, collaboration, teamwork, creativity, design thinking, right? Then tech skills. So that was under soft skills. Then you had tech skills, digital marketing, SEO, data analytics, cybersecurity, web development, and then intelligence, financial intelligence, emotional intelligence, social intelligence, right? He says the project was successful, and all that, right? And there's something he said that is very key that I want to bring out. I'm going to pull it out now, which makes a lot of sense. He says what? He says one of the he now talked about one of the boys that's from the chess and slum, from one of the boys from under the bridge that they trained, and before you know it, the boy has built his own HTML page and already had learned HTML and CSS, right? Which is amazing. But he says something. He says he read in a book, and that in that book, someone said crime succeeds because crime does the one thing the government doesn't do. Crime cares. Crime is grassroots. Crime looks for young kids who need support and a lifting hand. Crime gets involved in a community. Crime does not discriminate.
Mm-hmm.
Is that they're starting a new cohort of Smartans in September. This time they are bringing 50 of these air quotes Yahoo boys in the crooked bowl, and you will see their progress in real time. And then says people should donate. Now, this whole thing has been met with some of the cr- biggest animosity on social media that I've ever experienced.
Why though?
And people are basically saying you want to train Yahoo boys with tech skills, you are only going to empower them to commit more crimes because now they are fully equipped to go into internet fraud and commit more crime.
So what should the Yahoo boys now do that want to be reformed?
And I so the number one problem is that, see, if all this conversation was happening in a room, everybody will talk it out, and within like 1 hour, everybody will understand their points, and
Yeah.
most likely will gravitate towards Tunde's points. But because social media does not allow for nuanced and contextual conversations, right? And everybody only thinks in absolutes, we can't have those kind of conversations.
Mm.
Now, I think it's important for people to understand. First of all, I actually feel a lot of people are speaking from a point of privilege, right? That's
Yeah.
the first thing. Number two, a lot of people also want to keep things that they think they should only they and their kind of like economic or their social class should be privy to, which
Mm-hmm.
is all this whole tech thing.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm a tech bro.
tech, oh, yeah, and all that shit, which doesn't make sense because you can't there's no gatekeeping technology. Like it's technology. The fuck are you gatekeeping? Like,
You can't
do you
yeah, you
understand?
can't keep technology now. It's open.
It's technology. The next wave of technology, are you going to gatekeep it as well? You might not even be privy to it. Like, it's stupid for you to think that way, right? So that's that. My point here is, if you've noticed that young people are susceptible to going into a life of crime, why don't you create something? The government has failed to do it. Why don't you then create something parallel, which is what Tunde is explaining, where you can take these young boys and influence them and show them that, see, you don't need to commit crime to live well.
Yeah.
What is driving these young boys into this internet fraud? We once interviewed Donald Duke, right? And
Yeah.
he explained something. And this is one of the most important things I took from that interview. He talked about corruption. And he
Mm.
said, Usagi, there is corruption of greed and there's corruption of need.
Mm.
The policeman on the streets that takes your 200 naira, your 500 naira, your 1000 naira, and maybe goes home with 12,000 naira, is that really greed?
No need.
It's the need, because all that money, he has kids he wants to take to school, that his salary can't meet up with it. He has to give his wife money so that they can find things to cook in the house. So he's corrupt because he needs that money. It's not greed. And that's how I look at these young boys who will go into a life of crime. When you see your mother with an empty belly at the end of the day, at
Yeah.
night, you do anything to feed your family.
Yeah, you have your back against the wall, man. You have to survive. There's no matter what.
If you've not come from poverty and you don't understand what poverty is, you can't have this conversation.
Yeah,
You
you
need to
can't
go
judge
to the
these
corner
boys.
of the room, shut the fuck up, and listen to people talk who have experienced this or who have experienced this maybe in themselves by themselves or understand what's going on ground. You need to understand what poverty would do to people. So you need to have some sort of empathy towards people who are experiencing extreme poverty and have gone into a life of crime to fend for their family. What this young man is saying now is that if we can show these boys there's another pathway not to commit crime, but they
Yeah.
can upskill themselves to earn money, to take care of themselves and family, then that is success. And if you can't see that as a level of success, then my brother, my sister, you're speaking from a point of privilege.
You're blinded by your privilege.
That's what this young man is saying. Then let's even I had a conversation with Steve earlier in the day. Let's even just break down this nonsense. So he teaches somebody how to be a front end engineer now, a software developer. Then all of a sudden, the person you've taught the person how to do Yahoo, or the person is then going to take that skill to do more internet fraud. You
Bro.
teach somebody to be a UX UI designer, then the person now is upskilled and now can perpetrate more fraud.
Yeah, he wants to be a hero.
I don't understand how people think. Thinking in absolutes.
So
Don't
what is
even
their
think.
solution? Do they have a solution first of all?
Of course, there's no solution now.
So they're not even
You
contributing to the whole issue.
There's no solution here. There's no solution
Next
for this
next
problem.
fan mail. As someone who came from a poor background and learnt legal job, I'm offended of your understanding of internet Yahoo boys and their motivation. Osagie, I'm so disappointed in you.
You know,
Do you
Chris.
understand?
Oh god, see,
When this boy was teaching them how to play chess, they were okay with it.
Oh
yes,
yes.
no,
Yes, no.
tech is where they draw the line.
Tech.
See,
I don't
I, I,
understand
be,
this.
I
Somebody,
believe the
I've
yeah,
tried to.
sorry.
Sorry, Steve. I've tried to understand, and I was asking a message something in the group because we're having back and forth with someone in the group. How does upskilling these boys? How do you empower them to commit more fraud? Someone needs to explain it to me
Yeah, in clear terms, in a clear way.
because I don't understand
So
how you
someone
can
came on Twitter
empower
and said,
somebody to
"Okay, let me
understand.
explain something to you now." Someone said on
Yeah.
Twitter that he taught some boys how to. I don't know what he taught them, but one of them hacked their account, hacked his Facebook to start shooting love letters and to start bombing. You know what bombing now? You
Yeah,
know
yeah.
how they say.
Bombing emails.
They say that's an example of them using what you taught them to perpetrate their crime. Just that laughing. Oh my god! See, are you done?
I'm done for now. I'm just disappointed,
See, I
mildly
believe,
irritated
yeah, I
at
believe
people.
the,
See,
yeah,
Nigerians are a bunch of classist people. I've not seen any. Well, I mean, I've lived in Nigeria all my life and interacted with Nigerians most times. But please, Nigerians on every socio-economic level, Nigerians are classist. Even the lower class guy, is a fucking classist person, and it's irritating because we are all poor. There's the 1% in this country are the only ones that have access to wealth. All of you shouting and screaming, we are all poor. Poor in the mind, poor in our pockets, poor in the country we live in.
I'm unbelievably liquid, please. I don't pump. So,
I'm rich in
I'm
Jesus'
done.
name.
amen. I shall never be poor. I believe the issue with conversations on Twitter it stems from people perceiving themselves as morally superior to others. Like, it's important to remember that no one is inherently better than the other. We all simply have different life experiences and perspectives that have really shaped our opinions. And this has become very clear to me when I saw social media and I saw the various viewpoints on today's efforts let me define what Tunde is doing. Tunde is hurting, is putting it, is hurting that pipeline from the street, from street hustles to cybercrime
Exactly.
It's
by
disrupting it.
redirecting,
Yeah, it's
yes,
disrupting
by
it.
redirecting these young people towards learning practical skills to enhance to practical skills to basically to sustainable livelihood, right? It's just disrupting that flow. That's what he's doing, and that's what people are shouting. One side of the argument questions why there is an attempt to rehabilitate individuals, suggesting that there's this. So, okay, one, you didn't have a problem when you was teaching chess under the bridge, right? Some of you are painting these Yahoo boys as criminals. What do you think those guys under the bridge were? You think they were not criminals?
They were robbers now. They were jacking people.
Understand? On that perspective, saying that he's teaching them, like Osagie mentioned before, he's teaching them tech skills that will lead them to enhance, like to increase and perpetuate, crime. I don't understand what you people. What's tech? What do you people think tech is? Digital marketing, design, software engineering. That's what somebody is going to use to somebody. See, I've struggled. I struggle with the concept, the idea behind all these arguments, right? Because Tunde is not saying that he's going to rehabilitate hardened and hardcore Yahoo boys. Do you understand? He's just addressing the pipeline of young, of potential guys. It's a noble initiative. This is something everybody should be cheering for. I was surprised on a Monday morning. I just woke up, went on Twitter, and I just saw the 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 slew of criticism over this guy from people who have done nothing. You know, I I find it hard to take seriously to take the opinions of people who have not done anything, who have not done any work seriously. People who have not done any work, or people who don't understand the realities on ground. People on Twitter, raised in privileged environments, and they just talk without necessary context and knowledge of what's happening. It's important to remember that judgment should be reserved for those who are genuinely involved, like those who have a deeper understanding of the situation. And I looked at everybody on my timeline who had like an opposing view to mine, and I looked at them and like, all of you are privileged. Now that's why people are talking. You're privileged. That's why you have this morality. This you're coming up with the morality angle. It's privilege that leads to morality. To be very honest, it's privilege. It's a luxury to be privileged. The only reason I knew, right? The only reason I grew up in Delta State, the only reason I didn't do Yahoo was because I was privileged enough, right? I was privileged enough. I was privileged enough. I had a certain degree of material comfort and security that's that made me informed that I needed time to be okay, to be rich, and to be wealthy. Do you understand? Sorry, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
The
Yes,
only
now. I
reason
do.
I knew it would take time, the only reason I know it takes time to be rich, it takes time to be well, to be okay, is because of I wasn't brought up in hunger, right? I'm not desperate. That's why I didn't go into internet crime. It wasn't because of morale. It was because I was privileged enough to be educated to know about the process, about the journey to make it. That vision gives you what gives you the patience to undergo this process is the vision and hope. You're asking someone without hope, without vision to be patient. Do you understand what you're saying? Then someone on Twitter said the difference between you and the 16-year-old boy is Yahoo boy is opportunity. Someone said no, the difference is I not be thief. Sandra Ezekwesili said this. So uninformed. I'm so sorry. Like it's so sad about how uninformed people are, about how unrealistic people are. I see comments on Twitter. I just shake my head. Is it the same Nigeria that do you people don't go? Do you people go out, or people are just in this gated community, just chilling, and you don't realize the impact of Nigeria, what Nigeria has done to young people. People don't have hope. They don't have any vision. All they see is the guy driving a car
They see
in
the
the
hush
area.
puppies, man.
They're seeing these guys. And you're, oh man, people are crazy on Twitter. God damn. You are so crazy. I just look at comments, I just shake my head, you know. Uh,
Gatekeeping.
what
Gatekeeping what
annoys
you
me
like.
is this kind of like like
They try to gatekeep
that
they try
moral
to gatekeep
superiority.
Afrobeats
Nami
from
holy
Sheyi
pass.
vibes.
Yeah, yeah.
I saw
That
those
one too.
nasty
Oh yeah, that
comments.
was elitism now. That was pure elitism. They didn't get that now.
Saw those nasty comments from you nasty
So who
people.
is this? Who is this?
Nasty.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Nasty. I'm irritated.
So
Bro, let me tell you something.
it was the conversation on Twitter this morning was so eye opening. I was like,
Bro, let me let me let me
people
let
really
me tell you
don't know what's
something.
going on, you know.
In 2010, right? I was listening to Tosin Bokno.
Yep.
I
Of
believe
blessed
this was
memory.
2010. Yes, rest in power, Tosin Bokno. I love you. And she mentioned that, you know, there was going to be there was call for entries for a radio, I think the University of Portsmouth or so. I need to check. I can't even remember. They had a radio training, right? Um storytelling training, audio production. So you see this my journey into podcasting, audio and all this. It's been a long time coming. And that people who were interested should send an email and they will pick, a number of people. And immediately I heard, and I used to listen to Tosin Buckner every day, right? I just went and sent the email and I got a response that, yeah, you've been picked. Resume at, I think it was at somewhere in MKLA Abiola Gardens. I think it ended up being I think Amaka Egwe's office or studio somewhere in MK Abiola Gardens. And guess who was my teacher? Or one of my teachers, Chrissy Idero. And that's where I met Chrissy Idero for the first time. And he didn't even remember years later that I attended that training. But I'll tell you, our training was very interesting. We had to produce a 5 minutes documentary on any story. And my group and I, our story was about a bus conductor, the life of a bus conductor, the daily life of a bus conductor. So we had to go to a Elegba and interview a conductor in the midst of things, take like our recorder, get the audio, mix everything, write your script, just do everything right. And that was when I met a guy who worked with the publisher of Wow magazine. And because I, stayed in contact with that guy even after our production, I think that whole thing was for like a week and we're done, everybody left. And I stayed in contact with that guy and he reached out to me, hey, I know you do a bit of writing and all that. Can you write the entertainment section of our magazine? And I wrote the entertainment section of it was a monthly magazine. I think I wrote it for like 10 edition for a year. And that's how I started to build my writing. And it was there, right, that I now hooked up with Dr. Flavor, who worked at the radio station through my DJ friend. And he said, what have you done? You know, you want to be my sidekick. What have you done? And I pulled out those magazines and said, this is what I've done so far. I write the entertainment section of this publication. Oh, okay, this looks interesting. This looks really good. Okay, come on my show. Wednesdays and Fridays. Wednesday was 6:30 to 8:30. Fridays was 5:30, 6 o'clock or something. And I used to read the entertainment section and I'll go to net and curate my stories from net and the other publications and read, give him, I was like sidekick, so he would do everything and say, okay, entertainment news now. I got my sidekick here, Sax, tell me what's going on in the entertainment world. And then I would give him all the feedback and all that. That's how I was able to build my career like that, like that. And I remember it was even Ayo that reached out to me and saying, oh man, Net is looking for the Net NG is looking for a web or content uploader. Chegozim reached out to me, man. Are you interested? It's in the DM. We can pull these DMs out.
Yeah.
2010. And that's how I got the
You
job at
see
Net.
the line of action. You see the line of
If
action
I
that
didn't get
led
that
to
job
it.
at Net, I don't get the job at Pulse. If I didn't get the job at Pulse, I don't even meet you. Like, bro,
Yeah.
that is the
The
flow.
chain reaction.
And
The line, see
the
the chain
opportunity came
reaction that
from
led to
where?
it.
The opportunity came from a simple training.
Simple training. And what even gave you that opportunity for that training? You're listening to radio. You were informed. the way you were grew up, you were brought up to seek information, right?
Yeah.
That's why you were listening to radio in the first place. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like even
Yeah.
listening to a radio, even having the time to listen to a radio is a privilege.
It's a privilege,
It
bro. I'm
is,
still. I'm. Take. I'm. You know.
bro.
The new in career that I'm moving into, right? And I'm
Yep.
on Twitter, and I see a lot of people. These guys on Twitter who share like cheat sheets, who share like
Yeah.
a lot of stuff, right? Share
Yeah.
like free pathways, and they go to
Into
Gumroad
other.
and
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
yeah, and these things are free on Gumroad, and they'll just put it
Yeah.
up, man. I have this thing up for so period of time if you can download it, and all
Yeah.
those things have helped me. They are
Yeah.
information, bite-sized information that have guided
Yeah.
my path,
Yeah.
right? These kids don't even have the data
Bro.
to be on Twitter.
Bro.
They don't even have a phone. Do you understand that access
God.
to information is still a privilege in Nigeria? The problem with Nigeria, and we explained this thing before, right? And that's why that whole 350K hair nonsense. The problem is that different economic people of different economic so people of different economical classes are constantly clashing, and the ideals and value systems are very different. And it takes maturity, right, for you to step back and see where someone you are engaging with is coming from, or understand what they are saying before you then pass your judgments. And he said something that was very, of course, it was tongue in cheek. Let me see if I can pull it up because that was like a low blow from him. But yeah, I understand what he's saying. I'm going to pull it out now. He says, uh,
To even suggest that, oh, boys go into internet crime because they are greedy. Do you know what
"Come on,
greed
man,
is?
Greed is when you come from a political dynasty, you run for office and you still steal money instead of delivering to
Bro.
the people. That is greed. And that is way worse because you're affecting the lives of millions of people,
I
Oh,
love I
destiny
love
of
what
people.
Ian said here. I love what Ian said
man.
here. He
Social
said
media, social media has okay. Yeah.
he said again, the problem is a lot of you people don't read. If you carefully read this magic, if you carefully read this, the magic is deliberate mentorship along a chosen skills path. It's not just teaching them tech skills, but it is way easier for you to be sanctimonious as you arrange your fraudulent proof of funds loan for Japa.
That's a nice one. That's a low blow there.
Did you see
Ah,
something I
bro.
tweeted about Yahoo Boys like about 4 or 5 days ago?
No, what did you say?
Ah, I first quoted our president that said, "Good leaders, good people, nice men don't build
Yeah,
good
I saw that.
society." Yeah,
Yeah, I saw that.
this was a
I
sarcastic
saw
comment
it.
anyway, man. You know, I, I don't understand, bro. The conversation on this one is just it wasn't supposed to surprise me knowing like what Twitter is, but it
No,
still
I'm
did
shocked.
because
I'm
it
shocked.
just gave me a full like people are just ignorant.
People are
People are
living
not
in
just
people are
ignorant.
living
And
in
they
That's
wish to
bubbles.
stay in
so
their bubble.
yeah.
And they
There's a
want to stay in
bubble.
their bubble.
Yeah, they live in a
Yeah,
bubble.
Yeah.
They live
people
in
are
a
living.
bubble.
You know
Yeah.
what?
People are
And
living
because I
in bubbles and don't
struggle.
know what's happening.
Another thing that makes me laugh. People who put themselves in those situations. Oh, I grew up with people who were poor. We're all poor, but I
Poor,
didn't
poor
follow
girl
them.
level, my guy. Poor girl
But
level.
you
Bro,
didn't follow them because immorality is not the reason you follow them. Like in my, let me tell you something. I'm so happy that many of you are never going to be in a position where you are that desperate to do what these guys are doing. That's a testament to how God has blessed you.
yeah.
And I'm so happy for you. That my brother, my people, things are happening. Like, you know what they call vision and hope? People don't have it. They don't even know, bro. They don't
Bro,
even know it.
How
Like,
can you have
I
vision
still
and
travel
hope
back to,
when you can't eat
I still
tomato?
travel to, I still travel to where I come from, right? Like, and I still go back to like some places where I still meet people and there's no point describing what I do to them. Oh, what do you like? There's no point because they can't even get it. They don't even understand it.
they don't, bro.
They don't
Let me
understand. They
explain.
can't.
Let me tell you something. I went to a Fakojaye.
Yeah.
Amadia, Agulegba, right? Then I recently went to some part in Bariga. I called my friend and said, my brother, we live in a bubble. People are going through it, especially in this time. People are going through it. He said, what happened? I narrated where I'd been and all that. They said, that's cool. Now go to the north.
It was
Go and
there.
see poverty. Bro, I saw a video of I can't remember the states that somebody was eating and they were waiting for him to finish eating
So
so
they
that
could
they
get,
could eat this.
yeah.
Take care and the remnants.
So that is the person.
So
Do
you
you
know that
understand?
southern poverty is different from northern poverty. Oh. There are two different levels
Do you
again.
know? Do you know why people are being recruited into Boko Haram?
There's no job, my guy. They don't have. Where is job
Do you understand what people? Do you know that people are selling their kids right now in
for
some parts
50K?
of Lagos
So
for
people are selling
money?
their kids for 50K.
Do people understand what poverty is? I was in during
I think it's just
I
Instagram. They
went.
see Yahoo Boys popping champagne on Instagram and they just think that's the
It's just
reality of
thinking in
Yahoo Boys.
absolutes.
Yeah.
It's thinking in absolutes. It must
Yeah,
be
it's thinking in
zero or
absolute.
it's one. It
Yeah.
cannot be in between. And you have to change your thinking and understand that this thing is very, very nuanced. Anyways, man, I see you.
Another fun meal next week.
Oh yes, we are waiting for the.
Is is that?
I say we are waiting for
Well,
the anti Pablo Escobar people.
Yeah, because obviously they're so morally superior. They frown. They have
And
zero
you know
tolerance
that
for
this thing, we're just
they
looking
have
at it,
zero tolerance for internet crime. Now we like internet
Steve.
crime.
I know we're looking at
That's
this through gender lens because as internet crime has increased, right? Prostitution or sexual work has increased a lot in the last 10 years.
my brother,
If you go to Ikeja City Mall from 8 o'clock, my brother, that is a den of iniquity.
yeah,
And if you know Ikeja City Mall, you can throw a stone from City Mall to someone's office. This is right
yeah,
there in the governor's face, and you people
yeah,
are joking. I know. I see these girls come from. They went to Vivan Falau. These guys didn't go to Vivan
yeah,
Falau. They didn't go to Queen's College. Oh. That's it. They went to
yeah.
secondary school. Safe.
With the
that's also another set of
uh,
training that needs to be done for
and
people.
Yes,
you people don't still understand why this is very very well. We are in a very like this. The situation is like really critical because with the deteriorating state of the
fast,
country,
fast.
our educational system is zero. So
Something that was in the 70s.
the education that we had in public secondary schools, right? Like my
It's
generations, like
gone. It's gone.
the millennials, we had like like semi solid
Yeah.
primary and secondary
Yeah.
education
Yeah.
in government
The government
institutions,
schools.
right?
All the government schools, yeah.
That thing is no longer there.
It's
Disappeared
gone.
So do
now.
that thing that gave us that exposure, that gave us that opportunity to read and be educated. Like when I was in secondary school, I knew of the world out there. I knew of the things in Lagos. That's why when I finished school, I came to Lagos because I knew that there's something waiting for me here, right? And it's nothing criminal. It's just to build my life into something sustainable. That
It's
thing that
gone.
gave me that information was just
The value
the
system
education
is broken.
that I grew up with from my parents and from the school system. That school system does not exist right now,
At all.
except in private schools.
And even the private school self has to be like top
No, no,
1%
no.
safe.
Exactly, except in private schools where you have to be privileged right now to be going to private school. And 90% of Nigerian kids are not that privileged. They're going to schools that can't equip them, that can't give them the tools.
Poverty capital of the world.
Then the what is the most available tools to them is to commit crime, armed robbery, internet crime.
Mhm.
My brothers.
Blood
And you are
money.
saying tomorrow we are saying it's greed that is leading them there.
It's not greed, my
My
brother.
brother.
There's nothing for
Ah,
tomorrow. It's either survive or die.
bro,
We have
bro.
songs that celebrate internet fraud.
No, no,
I don't see anybody
no,
canceling any song and
nobody.
saying,
Oh,
no, we
No,
yeah.
will
now
not.
because
That's what he was saying. Now you people will go
of,
and buy tables at their
Osagie, you know
concerts.
why? Because when you go to Hard Rock Cafe or you go to South, it's hard for you to say, DJ, please don't play Charlie Poppy or don't play
Uh,
all these guys.
You understand? Like, you literally see the culture promoting this kind of thing. And I've not seen you guys saying,
no,
hey, we're
yeah,
not doing this.
Bro, you
not
guys are
doing it.
making
There's zero
fun of
tolerance.
Kanayo's blood money stuff. You guys are doing your
Yeah,
memes about it because you know that there's a blood money industry going, and that is desperation to make money by any means
yeah.
necessary.
Is the
Y'all,
guy that's
y'all,
trying to
y'all,
halt a pipeline of
Mm.
God disgust me. Disgusting.
The,
I
the
told them.
conversation just
I
made me so
told them.
sad. Let's
Yeah,
move
yeah,
on.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
done.
I told them album review. Burna Boy. Burna Boy told y'all.
No, tell
I
me
know on the
You don't
anything.
tell me
matter.
Did you
any.
intel us again?
What you tell me say we no get sense for
No.
Nigeria. I think tell me with that. You didn't tell me any of that thing.
Okay. I know you guys thought we talked
But
about
there's
that
this myth
yesterday.
about Burna Boy that goes around.
Now, what?
He made it in spite of the industry. He went against
Steve,
the industry,
Steve,
and I'm like, bro,
You want me to talk too
are you
much?
people? Is such an uninformed view and opinion that it does not is an agenda that does not make
No,
sense.
the agenda
You would think
exists.
he was just this independent artist that was calm and was
The
grinding and
agenda
Steve,
exists.
Steve,
No,
Steve.
Ayo, I'm ready to argue this thing with you
I'm not
guys. The
arguing.
agenda
I'm not even what the agenda is that maybe, most likely anyways, not even maybe. Burna Boy had issues with people in the industry. But the way his narrative has been sold is that Nigerians didn't give a fuck about him. That Nigerians
yep,
never liked him. That Nigerians never
yeah,
liked to party, never liked Ye and
yeah,
all these records, which is a bloody lie.
yeah,
But there are two narratives Burna has used to break out internationally. One, he was not accepted in Nigeria, and two, is a
yeah.
Pan-Africanist. And those two things are fallacies.
And those
Please,
things are built on lies.
let's just, if he has issues with people he paid,
If you want to argue it, let's go. Me, I
Osha,
have my
see,
facts.
Burna had issues with people who he had done business with before, and they didn't fuck with him anymore. People he had done they had paid payola, and they didn't place records. That's different. But when it comes to Nigerian supporting you, fucking with your music, even though you're not,
You just had it.
you're the
Yeah,
most
you just had it.
you are the most problematic artist at that time. People were still fucking with you. But not act as if Ye blew up in England or in America.
Yeah.
Bro, you came late to your show in the hotel 2019, like 3 a.m. or so, and people still waited and they performed your song. They sang your songs for you word for word. But in his story to into fame, into Hollywood, Nigerians never fucked with him. It was the
Burna Boy is not
complexes.
the first artist to gradually build his career like gradually in a gradual process. Like he didn't come out as a as a pop like as a hit like as a popular artist from the gate. He's not the first person. It's actually different artists have their own different career journey. Some come out and be popular from the gate. Whiskey came out with the song in the high school. What's the title? Holla Out Your Boy. First record. It was a hit, and from there he became popular. Everybody don't go through their career like that. Some people just come and build from the ground up gradually, gather fan base, release EPs like Burna Boy did, some mixtapes and albums, and gradually build it before
Yeah,
everything just
obviously he took the long
culminates
route.
into that.
Obviously, he
Yeah,
took because
it
there's an
is what it
interview I
is.
read where his mom said she made sure that he performed around the country, and that was what gave him
Yeah,
his experience on how to perform
yeah.
live.
Apart from life, and
But
also Ghana
bro,
fans, like that's huge, like that a group of fans that will really, really stick with you
I'm not
no matter
even
what you
mad. I'm
do.
not even
Like,
mad
gradually,
that Burna Boy is using this narrative. Is that Nigerians have started
see,
believing
the
this
narrative.
narrative?
Yeah, I started believing the narrative.
Like, where were you guys 5 years ago, 6 years? Is it that you guys are not listening to music then, or you're not listening to Burna Boy? You people act
Bro.
as if "Yeah" was the first song Burna Boy dropped and it blew. Come on now. Like I said, Burna won Rookie of the Year with Dami Crane, Headies, 2013 or 2012. I can't remember
I,
the year.
I, I remember Waji's album. The Burna Boy feature on that album was well talked about, even in the media, in the music media circles,
Yeah,
and it
yeah,
was. I think in some end of year list, we're putting it as one of the best features or best collabos or something something.
yeah. Yeah.
Like the concept of I told them I don't understand,
See,
but it is what it is.
it is
Shout out
what
to
it is,
him.
then, sha.
Good
Maybe
album
maybe
though,
he
man.
was
I
talking to
really
his
enjoyed it.
maybe he was talking to his contemporaries, but not us, sha,
Maybe
because
maybe to his contemporaries, not
from the
the
first day I heard
fans.
him, I was like, this guy's going to go far. So I don't know. But it was a
Facts.
good album. It's a good album nonetheless, a very good, strong album. But
Yeah,
I
I love the
feel that
album. The
his
album is
recent
good.
comments have overshadowed the way the album is being received, even internationally.
It is what it is now.
Yeah, it's a
And
game.
I'm still it's the game. It's hard to separate artists from who
Yeah.
they are right
Kanye's
now.
last album was Donda.
We've seen it several times.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Kanye's last album was
it's hard to
Donda.
separate.
And he was slaughtered everywhere, from New York Times to LA Times.
His demeanor, his arrogance, and the way he carries himself.
Yeah. You can't separate him from his art. That's the thing.
Recently, I think it has put people off, and that has affected, and that has influenced the reviews I've seen.
Yeah.
The reviews I've seen, yeah, it happens. at the end of the day, everybody has to live with the consequences of what they, live with the result of how they live their life. And I believe that Burna Boy is that's what has affected him recently in terms of the reviews. But the
Mhm.
album is really, really good.
It's a good album.
I
You
really
can't
love
hit
the
it.
album.
Burna Boy cannot do a bad album
I think
unless
the only album I can think from these last four albums, the only album I think African Giants and maybe
Twice as tall.
Africa. Is that?
Twice as tall.
I don't know, man. I enjoyed this album more than Twice as Tall. I won't lie
I
you.
have to listen again, Sha, but I think African Giants is his best. Then this can be like his third or
African
fourth.
Giants is from his. This is so. This is third.
I'm like,
So you think this Twice as Tall is better than this album?
I'm not sure. I have to listen again, Sha, but
I
this
don't
might
think
be his
so.
third album, Sha. Best third album for me.
Which one is the second?
I'm probably what's the one that year was on? That's outside, Abby. I think I like
That's
outside.
uh, that's a personal preference. Then.
Obviously, it's a personal preference. Yeah.
All right, Alonge. What say you?
Thank you.
Okay, first thing.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank
Once
you.
you
I
settle
told
down,
them.
thank me like this. I don't say,
Mm.
"What I don't do."
Mhm.
I
Let
told
me
them.
mute my
I
mic.
told them. Okay. Um, moving away from the controversy, blah blah blah, which we discussed last week. I actually just want to focus on the album. I think it's a solid body of work. I think we all know that Burna Boy knows how to make music. No, there's
You
no
can't dispute that one.
what. Yeah, you know what I mean. There's no argument there, right? Is I've told you guys there are three elite artists in this country. It's Two Face Idibia, it's One Deco, it's Burna Boy. They'll jump on any genre, collaborate with any artist, and possibly kill the artist on the record. And Burna Boy clearly shows that he's moving beyond the kind of music he's made before, and he's starting to interpolate more hip hop sounds and urban sounds into his work. And even with doing that, there are songs on this album that just stand out,
Yeah.
right? The Shea Vibes record, of course, Giza
Madness.
is
Madness, fam.
that's yes, that's my favorite record on the one of my favorite
Same.
records on the
That's
album.
my best song on the album.
Yeah, it's just amazing how Burna Boy can get into that Shea Vibes, world, right?
Mode,
And
yeah.
take control of it
It's a
from his own
crazy
side.
album. It's a
You
crazy
know,
record. I love
look
it.
at how he takes on the second chorus of that song, and he writes his own. Man, it's amazing. Normal level, that normal. It be normal now. Is a jam. On form is a jam. Sitting on top of the world is a jam. Tested, approved, and trusted. People like it a lot. I'm okay with it. Cheat on me. I know with the record with Dave, it's a radio record. Not the biggest fan, but I get it right. Big Seven, of course, they play like
You know my own
Bonner.
record.
Well,
If I'm lying. Oh, that's a fucking song. I'm like, Warner,
yeah,
what?
yeah,
Hey.
yeah, 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 yeah. You feel it from Bonner. He actually knows how
Yeah.
to make
The
good
worst the
music.
worst song is the last song on the album.
The one with the J. Cole.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
Jacob
think
just gave him one, I beg. Just may I rest, I beg.
no, the last song is actually the Taliban's too, the Bruno's track.
But that's when he jacked from that guy now. That's one with the real one he has.
Well, the thanks. This is motherfucking thanks. I get. Yeah, the
Yeah.
song is a rant, and
Yeah.
and it just overshadowed how people receive the album. It also shows me how people cannot separate um like people's personality from a body of work, and how it immediately starts to overshadow how they feel about the
Osagie, you know why?
person's project.
Because
Yeah,
he's a great
well,
artist.
because they are not, and they
No.
are not music reviewers.
Yeah. If is
They could.
if Casey is the one that's doing all this madness and he does a piano, people still not give a fuck. Like, bro, your music doesn't, we don't even care. But because
Mhm.
his character has been infused into what he's singing, then obviously.
Even the first record, right? The
Oh, that's a
first
jam.
record.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a jam.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's some Caribbean
yo.
Pan African shit right there.
Yeah, 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 yo. See how he starts. He's rapping,
Mm-hmm.
Don't want the genius. Don't the genius. Then
Number
of
one
course
in
you
the
have
UK.
Jiza from the Wu Tang. You have Jiza from the U Tang. Then that, when last Jiza rapped, the Jiza,
The bag
oh
must have
my
been big,
god.
man.
Do you understand? For you to even get Jiza, it means that these men, because Reza also has, the 12 Jewels, the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
skits where he talks about 12 Jewels. Like to get Wu Tang on your album in 2023, bam, from a kid from
But why do you
Nigeria.
think he
And you,
went? Sorry, why do you think he went for a New York sound, right? And
yeah,
after that, New York is like the home, the Mecca, right? And not
mhm.
Atlanta that is the waviest right now. I'm just guessing because okay, he has 21 Savage,
Because
but if you had like three other rappers
yeah,
from Atlanta, that'd been dope.
yeah, because but
I think New York has influenced him a lot as an
Okay, yeah,
as a
yeah,
personal
person,
project,
and yeah, I
yeah,
think
yeah, yeah.
he
personal
went after
project.
his influences and not
I'm
what
even
is
surprised.
popping right now.
I'm even surprised he doesn't even have Busta on the album.
No, I think
That surprised
I
me
think
because
but
him and Busta
no,
really
no,
are really
no, no,
close, and he
no, no,
respects
no, no,
Busta a
no.
lot.
Excuse me, Bossa is the one that's looking for that. Bossa is the one looking for a Burna Boy verse. Burna Boy verse.
I know. That's what
Yeah,
I know that. I'm saying I'm surprised there's no Burna because if you look at how close they are and
yeah, but
how much you really
I,
respect
I
Burna
felt that would
and
be
how they even look alike.
yeah. I feel that would
If
be
you look
on
at it,
Burna Boy's on Busta's album. That Burna Boy.
Busta's album.
Yeah,
Okay,
Mm.
okay.
But I
Let's
like how
see.
he put Burna in the video of the Big Seven record. So for me, it's a solid body of work again from
It's
Burna
solid,
Boy.
solid.
I
I don't
prefer it
agree
to
with
the
some of the reviews I've seen. Where I
mm,
know that I think his personality, like his the perception, has really clouded, influenced the reviews.
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
feel
really
it
good
from
album,
Burna.
solid
Feel
album.
it from Burna, man. Feel it from
Yeah.
Burna.
And he's a friend of the podcast.
Yeah, he's a friend. We featured on his album before
So
now, number two album.
yeah,
Yeah, he can.
yeah.
Burna knows us now. He can pull up anytime when he wants to.
So he might. Yeah, that's the agenda that we're going with. He's a
Yeah,
friend of the podcast,
the friend
so
of the podcast.
I will love the album.
As a matter of fact, I listened to this album before it dropped. Like, so yeah,
Yeah.
Hmm. Plug.
you
Wow.
wish you dey
Plug.
play,
Wow.
you dey play.
You
They play.
you guys listen to every album, almost every album before it comes out.
Well, I've listened to a
Maybe
bunch.
except Whiskey.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, I've
Except
listened to it.
Whiskey.
My leg no reach that one. My leg no reach that one.
I've listened to the so shout out to one of our listeners. No, don't let me go into it. I've listened to
No,
an
no, don't
album
go
that
into
is
it. Don't go into it.
anticipated, but I won't go into it.
Don't go into
Okay.
it.
All right. We have these two topics, but time don't go. I
Almost
think
three
we
Time
hours
can
don't
now.
move
go.
them. Or yeah, I
Damn.
just want us to move into loose talk trivia real quick. We have to do loose talk trivia, and then we're out. Then we can pick up everything later. Is that fine?
Yep.
All right. Okay, so Nana, we'll pick it up from here. All right, we're on to our next segment, and I'm excited to announce Loose Talk Trivia. Aren't you guys excited?
We are excited now. Huh? You know, if you just see our face,
I'm
Ah,
not.
you guys are not excited for Loose Talk
I'm
Trivia.
excited now.
I'm not because I'm tired. I'm feeling sleepy. All right, let's go. Let's go.
Is you are feeling sleepy now that Loose Talk Trivia is out?
You mean
Yes, now.
when it was time
I won't dodge
for
them now.
poverty and Yahoo Boy now, you are giving us Mandela speech.
Oh, there. You and your wife, they go beat you on Zoom.
Please don't yoke me with anybody that I've not seen. Please, thank you.
They sent the mail, yeah. You approved it.
There's no marriage by
Yeah,
mail. We're not doing that one yet. Please.
Ah,
his
yeah.
wife. That shit was funny.
Send your picture the next time so that we can have a face to
A,
it.
a full embodied picture so we can make accurate decisions. Thank you.
All right. We have 6 questions. Loose Talk Trivia. 6 questions, and with 6 questions, each carries 2 points. If you fail to answer it, it goes to the next person. And if the person answers it, the person gets 1 point.
Okay.
So from number 1 to 6, please pick your who's going first?
Let me go first.
Okay. So 1 to 6.
One.
Come on now, wow.
Sharp.
All right. What was General Babangida Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida's position before becoming head of state?
Chief of Defense Staff.
In Is that your final answer?
Yeah, that's my final answer.
Wrong.
Ugh.
Steve, I hope you're not Googling. This is virtual. I
No.
hope you're not Googling. I can hear your keypad.
Um,
I'll ask you to switch on your video now. Steve is Googling. All right, time up. Time up. Steve is
sorry.
Googling. No,
No,
Steve is Googling.
I'm not googling now.
What's the answer?
Time up. Time up.
Chief
The
of Army
answer
Staff.
You are googling. I can't. No, you took too much time.
No,
You
no, I was just cracking my head because I was just
are
cracking
not.
my head off what
You are,
Ayo said.
I know you, Steve. You are a liar. You googled.
What is
The
the
answer
answer?
is
I didn't even go.
the
What is
answer
the
is
answer?
chief of army staff between 84 and
Ah, okay,
85.
no wonder you was saying I was Googling. I didn't Google, sha, but it's fine.
Okay.
You go.
And I just guessed out of it. I was thinking about
That's so.
what the soul of the
The soul of the
waiting
question.
military only do again apart from chief of army stuff. Oh, yeah, let's go.
Mhm. All right. So question one is gone. You have two, three, four, five, and six.
Question two.
You have to answer this question in 10 seconds. If you don't, you miss it and move it to the next person. Nigeria is divided into 36 states. Which one is the largest by area?
Niger.
I'm not doing this list question. That ridiculous.
The idiot, it's
It's
not.
Niger now.
You got it.
Switch on your video.
I got it. Of course, I got it. It's Niger. There's nothing anybody can tell me. I got it.
Switch
Don't
on your
worry.
video. Everybody, switch on your videos. Turn on
I
those
can't even
videos.
switch on
No,
video.
we can't switch
I
on.
can't
In
even
this format,
see.
we can't switch
I
on.
can't switch
There's
on
no button.
videos
There's
in
no
this format.
button.
On
There's no
video. There's no
button.
button to switch on video.
The
Yeah.
problem is that you
It's
see.
Niger. It's Niger is the biggest state in Nigeria. I don't know what that's a number. That's a popular. There's nothing you can do about it.
I'm calling you on WhatsApp video. Join me on WhatsApp.
If you like invigilator, people for don't shoot you by now.
Yeah, join me on WhatsApp.
Oh God! Oh yeah, no, let's go now.
Yeah. So those two questions are null and gone. Yeah, you have two more questions left.
No, we
Four
have
more
three now.
questions. Two each.
But you said 10 seconds now. You said 10 seconds now.
You are googling. I'm not
Okay,
doing that again.
you can reduce it to five. There's nothing.
I'm not doing that with you.
All right. Oh, wow.
I'm coming. I'm going to call you guys on WhatsApp video. I must see your fingers up. I must see your fingers up in the air. All of you. Uh-huh. I'm calling.
You call me. My phone is on. Do not disturb.
Speak. That's all. Good call.
Hello, sir. I'm here.
Go on. Uh-huh. Let me
Steve,
see
where
the
you
other
day?
hand.
Steve, where you
Where
day?
is Steve? You see? You see? A fraud. You will be googling. I will take my time to
Wait, you are
research this
calling
question.
already?
Yes,
Let
now.
me
Yes,
tell someone to bring my phone. Just give me a minute.
Use your laptop now.
I'll take time to
This
construct this
is not my
question.
work laptop,
Oh,
so
okay.
my WhatsApp is not here. I'm coming.
Why is your phone not with you? Oh. Oh yeah, your hand in the air. Please go on mute, Steve. Go on mute on your phone. Go on mute.
Go
Go
on
on
mute.
mute.
Thank you.
Are you on mute? So, questions. You've not unmuted yourself on the Zencaster.
Zencaster, you're not on mute, sir.
Or if I want to speak, I'll mute myself now. Let
No,
me tell you
don't
this
Leave
worry.
now.
it. Leave it on. Just leave it unmuted.
Why would I leave it on mute? If someone walks into my room, into the house right now.
Yeah, it's virtual recording now. Is anybody
No,
going
no,
to flog
I
you on
don't want to.
the?
I don't want to disrupt the recording. Don't worry, I'm
All
here.
right. So questions one and two are gone. You have three, four, five, and six. When you are answering the question, since you are using your hand to hold one mic, I want the other hand in the air like this. Uh-huh. In fact, that using is okay because you're using one hand to hold the phone. You're using the other
Yeah,
hand to hold the
yeah,
mic.
yeah,
All right. So who's next? Steve. Ayo.
yeah.
Three, four, five, and six.
6.
Steve, you will look at this camera. You won't look at your screen. You look at me throughout the question. You are on mute. I can't hear you.
I'll look at my screen just in case I want to unmute
No,
now.
no, you don't need.
You don't need
Leave
to
your
mute.
phone.
You don't
Leave
need
me
to mute,
on.
sir.
No, I have to mute and unmute. That's how I've been recording since. I don't even
Don't
need
just
me now.
Oh, wow.
mute.
See, exam
Raise your
My,
malpractice.
hand in
my
the
house is very busy. Someone can just barge into the room. That's
Steve,
way. Yeah.
Wait, now edit. Raise your hand in the air. I want your hand in the air. Lean back.
You have to. I'm not googling. If I'm googling, you know now. Look at me now. I don't understand. If I'm googling, you know now.
No, see, look at me. Oh yeah, then change. You know what to do? Your phone, face the laptop screen.
Mm-hmm.
And he has two screens, though, so we have to be careful.
No,
In
wow.
fact, I don't want. He has two screens. I don't want it. Face yourself. Face you. He they use the one up. I don't see him. He did Google page. You're a liar, Steve. I've seen it. It's on Google page. This guy is a fraudster. The screen up is on Google. Steve, let's face me. Face me. Don't face the screen anymore. Leave it like that. You're on mute. We can't hear anything
Oh,
you're
You
saying.
God.
just they accuse me. There's nothing there now.
Oh, my Lord.
Put your hand on your head. Me answering your question. Where's your hand, Steve?
I'm using it to control the cursor.
What are
So
you?
mute and
Why
You
you?
don't need
unmute.
to control the cursor, my guy.
Do you know that you people are dragging this thing over? Maybe I'm tired though.
You see, we'll
Look
be.
who's dragging
This is
it.
the last. This is the last time we're having this one virtually. This is the last time. All right. Three, four, five, and six. Go ahead.
Six. Six.
Six.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. Steve. Ayo.
Mm-hmm.
Where are your hands?
See my hands here. I'm holding my phone. I'm holding this now. That's why.
All right. Burna Boy has the albums Life on a Spaceship, Outside, African Giant, Twice. What are you doing, Steve? He's already googling. Leave it there. Just put your hand like that. Twice as tall. Love. You're on mute. I can't hear you. Love Damini and I Told Them. Those
Yeah.
are the albums he has, right?
Yeah.
Why you look at me on this camera? Don't look at your screen. Look at the phone. Look at the phone. This guy is googling already. I'm done. I'm not doing this thing again. Let's end the podcast.
Please let it be told that
Listeners,
Steve was cheating. Thank you.
listeners.
I'm still looking at Chi. This angle, you can see two of my two hands, right?
Ayo is now cheating.
No,
You know,
Oh,
no, 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 no,
okay.
no, no.
I
See
thought you were
me.
talking about.
See me. I'm up
you
here. My phone is here.
see, I take everything back I said about people in trying to reintegrate Yahoo Boys into. I take everything back. You're right. I'm having. I'm having.
Oh
This is
Ah,
God.
wow. Trust issues.
this is a,
I'm gonna do this
this is
trivia. I
a
know we come out now.
Yeah,
I
no.
guess I know. I had zero in the last one now. Did
Oh, yeah,
you
Mary, go, go, go,
this
um?
is
go.
this is
Did you
this
reduce my bank account? What would I be googling for? Post
fake
stock
study,
trivia.
and you people cannot be reintegrated into society.
Oh
Wow.
yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
We agree. We are not integrated. Yeah.
All right. So he has all those albums,
Yeah.
right? What's the name of his first mixtape?
Shit.
It
Wait,
was dropped
wait.
in. Name of the second one, and the second one was dropped in 2012. The first one was dropped in 2011. What is the name of the first mixtape?
Born Identity.
Wrong.
Oh, fuck
Steve.
it.
It's only one identity mistake that I know. So it's wrong. You know,
The
Yeah,
name
voila.
of
that
the
one.
first mixtape is Born Notice.
Yeah, you had one before. Yeah,
Okay.
I remember.
Shout out to him.
Good for
Okay.
him.
So question six. All right, Steve. You have three, four, and
Question.
five.
Question 4.
Question four. Okay, it's right up your alley. Who captained the Olympic gold medal winning team of 1996?
One kwa Kanu now.
Correct.
Ugh, I beg. Who doesn't know that one?
Correct. Ayo, you have question three and question five.
5.
Okay, that's right up your alley.
Hmm.
Before becoming the superstar act with the 1989 smash album Ace Afro Juju Series 1, Shina Peters was in a group, Music Duo. What is the name of the group?
I don't know the name of the group. Don't even bother.
The something
Ayona.
something. Hey
The
God.
what? The
Oh.
something something. What is the something something?
Ayona,
Wait.
I know, but it's not in my head right now. I beg.
I same.
Pass.
Okay, Steve.
I don't know.
Okay, the name of the group was Shino Adewale. It was a group between Shino Peters and a guy called Shegun
So
Adewale.
now,
I beg.
So they now took
Question
the
5. Question 5.
first name and the last name, Shino
Question
Adewale.
5.
I have one of the albums. Question five is taken. That's what we just said. Question three is left.
Question 3. 3.
Yeah, you work in a financial institution, Steve. So this question is for you. The Nigerian naira was introduced in what year to replace the Nigerian pound at the rate of £1 equals to 2 naira? What year was he introduced? The Nigerian naira.
1979.
Wrong. Ayo.
1963.
Wrong.
Oh,
Steve.
you can't give him again.
Nine.
He has lost now.
I can't.
Guess.
1972.
19. No. It has to be after the war. 1960.
When did the war end? That you're saying
1965.
1977.
when did the war?
1970.
It's okay. Thank you. Two of you wrong.
What's the answer?
1970.
Oh, that
1973.
was close now.
Yes.
Oh, that's close.
All right. So
What is 79?
Steve won with only 2 points.
Mm-hmm.
Counting
Don't
the
finish.
tally now. I'm counting the tally now. Hold
I
on.
see the lead now.
Yes, no. Let me count the tally.
Okay, big I free my hand, Abby.
Yeah, you can free
No
your
free
hand
your
now.
hand.
The tally now is Steve 3, Ayo 7.
Still leading. Still leading.
Yeah, you're still leading. Stock results. Okay, guys, that's the end of this episode. Hope
Yeah.
you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah. 3 hours.
Yeah, there's still more to talk about, Sha, but we'll talk about it on the next episode. All right, I want to leave you guys with the quote of the week. We now have a quote of the week. The quote of the
wow.
week is: the quickest way to mediocrity is to try to make everyone happy all of the time.
Bars.
Bah.
Catch you guys on the next episode. Peace
Yeah, we
out.
done.
Bye bye.